173 drivers entered this weekend hoping to lock their way to the third annual running of the biggest sim racing event of the summer. And as Saturday afternoon turns to Saturday evening, we have reached now the final 80 that will contest for 40 spots in tomorrow afternoon's PGR SummerSlam 499. Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to the Duel races. The third running of the SummerSlam 499. We welcome you into the PGR broadcast booth. I want to thank our sponsors here briefly, both title sponsors and for Duel race number one. Blanchard's Towing and Recovery, Chris Blanchard making the Duel race later on, you'll see in just a little bit, as well as the folks over at Ryco Performance for their support of the SummerSlam 499 as title sponsors. I want to thank all of those folks. And coming up here in Duel race number one, I want to wish an early happy 50th birthday to Dawn Merck. I heard some rumors over the last hour or so that someone is turning 50, and that someone may or may not be going on a big bucket list cruise coming up very soon. So happy early birthday to Dawn Merck. I want to thank Jeff Merck for the sponsorship of Duel race number one. Well, as we move into it now, you see the drivers that will contest this opening Duel race. The stakes rise just a little bit now. 40 enter, 41 with a provisional. 20 will leave with a chance to race tomorrow in the SummerSlam 499. And this one has about everybody you could ask for in terms of big names in money racing, in professionals, in underdog picks. It's got a little bit of everything. This Duel race is going to be absolutely incredible. Just over a minute to go in a warm-up session here for the drivers on the racetrack. And now we'll bring into the PGR broadcast booth my partner for this Duel race number one. It's going to be Evan Carlbon that joins me up here in the broadcast booth. And Evan, you'll be competing in Duel race number two coming up here in just a little bit. But first, Duel race number one on the racetrack. It is a big field. The venue, Talladega Super Speedway, 2.66 miles in length. But Evan, as we bring you in, sure to be a ton of fireworks in what is a loaded Duel 1 starting grid.
Yeah, Dawson, as you mentioned before, it is a loaded, star-studded field that we have on our hands today for the first Duel. I'm going to expect a lot of bonsai moves, a lot of, I don't know what to say, all these kind of crashes and all this kind of stuff that we're going to eventually come up to see. But nonetheless, this is one of the more star-studded fields we've ever had for a race in PGR's main history. So I'm looking towards a lot of fun to watch it, and I'm also looking forward to my Duel, which is right up next. And it's not that bad compared to this Duel, but I appreciate you, Dawson, for allowing me to come back up here after yesterday, and let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun indeed. The payouts on screen for the drivers that we competed for tomorrow, $1,500 to the winner. Some consolation prizes, but again, as I've said all weekend, the first place prize pops off the screen for most of the drivers still alive in the SummerSlam 499. Heat winners got $30. Duel winners now will get $100 apiece, so you could really build your profit before we enter into tomorrow afternoon's race. You could come out $100 richer total than you did when you started this event before you even turn a lap in tomorrow afternoon's event. Well, with a bit of a quick turnaround here for Duel race number one, it's time to head trackside and get you ready for one of the most stacked top to bottom races in PGR promotion history. Duel race number one. This is not even the 499-mile event, and it is incredibly stacked with super speedway and iRacing.com service talent. We're going to get into it right now. The 41 men that will compete in Duel race number one. On the pole, by virtue of his win in heat race number one, it's the 38 machine of Justin Champagne that will lead the field to green. To his outside, it will be the winner of heat race number two, Jacob Wilkerson, in the RaceEPI.com Chevrolet. Row 2 will be the Canadian driver and former Podium 500 winner Kyler Wynn. Alongside him, an eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series entry, the JDR Camry of Michael Guest. Back on row number 3 and starting in 5th, it's the brother of the Heat 1 winner. It's Kevin Champagne, who pushed his brother to the victory in Heat 1. He'll go from position number 5. It will be one of the more underdog stories, a man who started the PGR 500 back in February. It will be Dalton Meelam, starting from position number 6. Back in the 7th spot, it will be Freddie Bassinez, one of the upstart drivers in the PGR scene. He'll go from position number 7 to his outside, a man who has plenty of experience on iRacing. It's Caden Diedrich in the 24 machine. Last two cars in the top 10 on row number 5. It will be Matt Lee, one of the longest tenured super speedway racers on the service. He'll go from 9th to his outside. It's Kirill Kananovic in the newly numbered 17 machine. He'll go from position number 10.
Row 11, we have Cade McClenny, the driver of the 05. He's very experienced on iRacing. Be on the lookout for him to make his move up to the front. Alongside him is going to be Josh McCullough, also driver of the number 05. He's a regular of the super speedway community. He has won a lot of things that you can win in this community. Also, be on the lookout for him to be as aggressive as he possibly can be. Colin Keister, starting right behind them. He's an eNASCAR Pro Series driver, rolling off 13th. I expect him to make some moves going early to the front, try to get to the lead. And beside him is Spencer Burns, a new name to the scene that is looking to spoil the party amongst these veterans. Row 8, we got Max Steinda, also new to the scene, but he's an ultra-aggressive driver. He's looking to spoil the party as well. Right beside him is Christopher Carter, veteran of the money racing scene, who raced his way into the duels and gave his provisional up to Trevor Osmanoff, as we'll see in duel number 2. Right behind them in row 9, Casey Sprinkle, a young gun looking to play with the vets and make a splash amongst and make a name for himself. Alongside him, Kenny Reel, driver of the Jack Shack number 11, looking to carry the torch of Jack Shack winners this past weekend. Right behind them, Andrei Lyubov, notorious for his super speedway skills and driver of the 00. And right beside him is Mike Triscaro, the promoter of this event, looking for redemption after not making to the PGR 500.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Triscaro, one to watch today as he looks to make his first crown jewel start in PGR. Starting 21st, it's one of the best stories from the heats. It's Matthew Taylor in the 44 from a crash to a dual race. He'll go from 21st. It'll be Jackson Byes in the 33 that goes from position number 22. Back on row 12, starting in 23rd spot, it'll be Andre Chicome in that all-red Ford Mustang, another driver who got involved in an incident. A driver on a free entry into this event to his outside. The 24th spot will be Justin Tatuchin in the 42 machine. Back on row 13, it's Jared Haynes carrying the banner for the Jack Shack tonight in the 7. It'll be Jack Mace alongside him in the 07 machine, rolling from 26th. Row number 14 will be David Flanagan, another Jack Shack entry from his effort in Heat 4 to this dual race. He'll go from 27th. It'll be John Ward, the captain for Dega Pros, back in the 28th position. Rounding out the top 30 on row 15, it'll be Joey Beck on the inside of that row 15 and 29th. To his outside, it's one of the underdogs, Cal Harvey, that advances to duel number 1. He'll start from 30th.
Starting in 31st, rolling off in row 16, the most recent PGR Thursday Intimidator Super Speedway Series, Stephen Miles. Be on the lookout for him to either keep it tame or get to the front as soon as possible. And alongside him, the driver from New Zealand, Cohen Thompson, looks to make his return to America in a special way. Right behind them in row 17, Ethan Dallaire, new name to the scene. Not many people know him, but he wants to make a name for himself today. And right beside him, the return of Josh Giambroni, one of the most aggressive pushers in the field. Behind them in row 18, Jackson Anderson, another young gun trying to make a splash with the vets. And right beside him, Ambrose Knievel, who got into this dual race off a George Jewell penalty. Behind them, Matt Frady won a free entry in the SummerSlam process leading up to it, and he's been driving like a vet ever since. Beside him, Adam Tahan got in via Garrett Maines not passing him. And the final row, Michael Wingo, the biggest underdog story that I think that'll be in this duel. Look for him to make a push, make a pass, make everything possible. And the final man on the grid is Jeff D. Merck, driver of MBG, a huge veteran of the money racing scene.
There you see it. One of the most stacked top to bottom fields in PGR history will contest 60 laps at the Talladega Super Speedway. No fast repairs. Your do-overs are gone. 100% fuel, 3 green white checkers. You gotta be top 20 to race in tomorrow afternoon's SummerSlam 499. 40 drivers are one step away from racing in one of the biggest events in PGR history. Who will get in and who will go home? Green flag, we're racing in dual race number 1. And already as the field works up the banking in turn 1, I was going to let you hear the engines. These guys are not going to allow me. Spencer Burns, the first to make a 3-wide move on the outside. He's got Kenny Reel with him, and coming to the front, it's series owner Michael Triscaro in the 34 machine. All 3 looking to make ground early, and that's not really surprising considering the talent level in this field. McClenny jumps up. Diedrich jumps up. Kananovic left in the middle. Couple more cars let to fend for themselves in the middle lane as Diedrich in that Twitch Chevrolet comes to the front off turn 4. Already fast and furious, 3 wide, several rows deep.
Got the 0-3-4 of Dalton Meelam, seeing how much the top line has momentum. Kyler Wynn's going to make a move up there. It looks like everybody's going to file to the top. Kyler Wynn is in the middle. He's going to get sucked all the way back. He's going to probably lose a bunch of spots, but don't count him out. Never count Kyler Wynn. You got Matt Lee on the bottom. He got side drafted away via Kyler Wynn being in the middle, but you have now the Champagne brothers all linked up, trying to clear each other off of 2.
Fades of heat race number 1. Justin Champagne goes to the push of his brother Kevin, and now to the point in this first dual race on the bumper of Heat 2's winner Jacob Wilkerson. Up front, a lot of the guys you saw finish top 2 so far. Not a ton of big movers yet, other than the 11 of Kenny Reel, who runs up behind the Caden McClenny machine on the outside. Runs behind Spencer Burns. Inside now going to be Kevin Champagne, pushed by Freddie Bassines and Kyler Wynn, a pair of teammates. Car left out in the middle, that's Matt Lee. He's going backwards, 4 wide in the tri-oval. One car gets to the right rear and is right back around Andre Leibov, John Ward, Matthew Taylor. Everybody keeps it straight. Lap 3 on the board, a lot more energy in the field with 40 cars to be able to make moves like that. Matt Lee in the middle with Andre Leibov behind him, but they're not making much ground. The rest of the field 2x2, and it's an all Champagne front rows. They work onto the Alabama Gang super stretch.
Freddie Bazinez with a huge shove of momentum to Kevin Champagne, and you got Kyler Wynn coming up behind him. Just like I said, don't ever count him out. He will know how to make his way to the front. Freddie Bazinez is going to clear up and get in front of Kevin Champagne. Oh man, you didn't pop the champagne too early. Freddie Bazinez is going to take the lead off of 4, and that's a dangerous move for anybody that is in tow.
Boy, how about it for Freddie Bassines? That was confident early in a dual race, so I'm sure lap 3, the nerves still pretty high for guys like Bassines, who is not necessarily a new driver anymore, but maybe new to the special events. He'll have his teammate now jump out as you're on board with that teammate. Kyler Wynn, the Canadian driver, jumps to the outside on the bumper of Bassines. That leads Kevin Champagne on the bottom with Kirill Kananovich. Justin Tutunshin is up here, plus 18 for the driver of the 42 already. The biggest mover in the field is the man third on the inside. Outside's got the momentum. Wynn, Bassines, Champagne, Wilkerson, Guest, no longer. Wilkerson bails from his spot to the bottom on the push of Champagne. Bassines Wynn start to shade, so does Justin Champagne as they all come down pretty well, fast and furious. In the middle, further back, Spencer Burns, Kenny Reel, John Ward, Joey Beck trying to make that middle lane work. For the most part up here, pretty cordial still. Not a ton of tight side drafting yet. Not a ton over the line in terms of aggression. We've kind of got a second pack forming with Matthew Taylor on back from this lead draft, and some cars have already lost the lead draft in this early stretch of the race. Those include Max Dinda, Ambrose Kniebel, and Chris Carter, who opted to start from the pits. Diedrich again making headway on the outside. He's got Caden McClenny and Jack Mace with him, along with Michael Triscaro. Guest up to block. That's going to stack that top lane. A big moment here. One car in the outside wall, and as they scramble for 3 wide, 5 rows deep, almost disaster up front.
Jacob Wilkerson has taken the lead, taking command. Kyler Wynn to the outside of Kevin Champagne, leaving him down the sucker hole. Now you have 3 of the top 5 on the top line. Our teammates wonder how Michael Guest is going to maneuver his way around Justin Champagne. I'm sorry for the mix-up. And Kevin Champagne just got split in the middle. 4 wide, 4 rows deep, all the way back. Oh man, Dawson, things are getting really exciting this early. I don't expect them to stop.
David Flanagan cut him a break about 8 rows deep on the bottom and allows him to jump back in line, but Champagne, shades of his heat race the other night, goes front to back just like that and will now have to rebound. The best part for him, this is a 60-lap race, not a 30-lap race, and also you only got to get to 20th, not to position number 10. We mentioned that second group starting as Kyler Wynn and Freddie Bassines go to the race lead up front with Justin Champagne. Kananovich going to go with him as Wilkerson and Guest having a problem getting hooked together. McClenny has to make a save. Ward and Mace up around the outside. The front continues to scramble. The second group back there, that includes drivers like Matthew Taylor, Cohen Thompson, Stephen Miles, Jeff Merck, Matt Frady, Michael Wingo, Jackson Anderson in that group. Ethan Dallaire, Calvin Harvey, and Andre Chickham are the cars in that group. Leobov, Dinda, Kniebel, and Carter are the ones off the pace at this point. 3 wide up front for the race lead. Kirill Kananovich through the bottom. Wynn and Bassines and Guest are in the middle, and it's Champagne, Wilkerson, and the emerging Caden Diedrich up top. They finally got that top lane to work. Bottom will die out a little as well as Kyler Wynn will maintain the point. Into 3, they'll now lead the bottom. Back to 2x2. Champagne and Wynn up the banking in 3.
Kyler Wynn, Freddie Bassines, and Michael Guest all lined up. Their teammates. You never want to see that happen because you know how good they work together, but they will also race each other and make some moves that are very questionable. But right now, I know that they're going to play it safe. Michael Guest pushing Freddie Bazinez, giving him all the momentum. Kirill Kananovic and Justin Tatuchin in tow. Justin Tatuchin's up 16 spots from the start, Dawson.
Yeah, and he's inside the top 10 at this point, well inside the transfer positions. Now a long way to go. A pit stop, by the way, under green. Should this race get into a green flag run, will be necessary. With 100% fuel, you still can't make it 60 laps. You make it somewhere in the range of about 40. So we expect one green flag pit stop should we get there. Champagne to the bottom. In the middle, here comes John Ward. How about Michael Triscaro? He's going to jump on Ward's nose. Michael Triscaro wants to come to the front and duke with the big boys up here. Champagne almost gets turned by Bazinez. Champagne hung in the middle between Wynn and Bazinez. He'll go to the push now of Triscaro. This is going to be a precarious moment as they have to check up, but everybody gets together. Now it's Triscaro pushing Champagne, Ward, and Matt Lee in line with them in the middle. Wynn, Wilkerson, and Dietrich, the big winners from that, as the outside will once again surge. Cade McClenny +7 now for the driver of the 05. Bazinez jumps to the middle with Champagne and allows Guest on the bottom to lead Kirill Kananovic. The top four loving what they see, but McClenny about to come under attack from those cars behind him. The field works off a 2. 6 rows of 3 wide racing. Back to Adam Tahan in the middle.
Freddie Bazinez came up, giving some temperatures to Michael Guest, his teammate. He wants to make sure that he has a clean pusher behind him for their next run on the bottom. Kirill Kananovic is trying to push him past Freddie Bazinez and not let that happen. I think Kirill Kananovic notices that the teamwork that is working for them. And you got Justin Champagne pushing Freddie Bazinez. It's just 3 wide racing all around. You got Michael Triscaro, who's not afraid to make any moves. He's been going up, down, all over the place, trying to make everything work. This early, I don't know about it, but I think Michael Triscaro is taking some notes right now and leaving it in his notebook for later.
So the top 26 are in this lead draft as we go on board with the driver of the 39, Michael Guest. The top 26 are in this lead pack. 27th on back are in either the second group or by themselves. And that's either the second line that is about a second off the back of the lead draft led by Jeff Merck, or in a group by themselves out back of the lead pack. The lead pack, though, I don't really blame that second group because this lead pack is living up to the billing of this dual race so far. 3 wide for most of the opening 10 laps. Make sure a picturesque scene as they work off turn number 4 here at Talladega. Wynn continues to lead. Wilkerson continues to be second. No change on the outside other than Jack Mace, who got a couple spots with guess who? David Flanagan, and we saw him do this in heat race number 4 last night, grabbing right rears with Jack Mace, being aggressive, but what I called clinical earlier on in the heat races this afternoon in terms of it's not over aggressive, it is simply doing what you need to do, and Flanagan actually going to try to get the right rear of Jack Mace. Mace defends it well here off turn number 2, back about 6 rows deep. Bottom starts to roll. Bazinez gets split. Freddie Bazinez going all the way to the bottom. Wynn crosses top to bottom to pick up his teammate. Wilkerson gets the lead as John Ward has arrived on the scene in the 92.
Up on a lap car of Chris Carter. Looks like he's gonna stay low. That's gonna force everybody to go high. It's gonna help out the middle lane in terms of side draft, but this is gonna be tight. Chris Carter bails down to the apron. Good move on him. You got the teammates, Guest, Bazinez, and Wynn. They all lined up together. That was a precarious move by Kyler Wynn to clear all the way down after he saw his teammate get split, and now John Ward is too far out. They're all gonna get a big run. John Ward's gonna have to block here as we're gonna have Cade McClenny clear. Oh, no! 1 in the wall,
Kyler,
2 in the wall.
Save it. Kyler Wynn, can they all save it? Josh Jambroni's in the wall out back. Everybody keeps it straight. Unbelievable. The first pack keeps it going. 4 wide still back around to Tunchin. Somehow, some way, we avoid what should have been at least half the field being involved in a crash right there on the exit of turn number 2. We keep it up front. That allowed that second group, which by the way had just lost the draft, it allows them to get back into the draft of the leaders now. They're all back as one cohesive draft line, if you will. Looking at a quick replay on the PGR eSports replay, and John Ward, this is kind of where this starts, a little bit of indecision. Jumps up to the middle, goes back to the bottom, and Matt Lee getting pushed through by Michael Guest tries to lift. It just does not work out for the driver of the 04 as he tries to split 4 wide. And boy, oh boy, how did we avoid carnage right there? Guys scrambling 5, 6, 7 lanes wide to miss the carnage on that one. Back to live action. We've calmed it down a little bit here at the front. Wilkerson continues to lead. A move from out back. Here comes Cade McClenny in the 05. And unlike his heat race, he's got some help this time. Kyler Wynn to the push of that green and yellow Chevrolet on the bottom. By the way, that second group that was Jeff Merck and company is backed way off now from the lead pack. They are 1.7 seconds back. Danger zone for pit stops, but right now the way this pack is racing, I'm not sure these front pack guys are thinking about a green flag pit stop here, Evan.
David Flanagan is going 4 wide. Sorry to cut you off there, Dawson, but David Flanagan went 4 wide. You're not clear, David. You're not clear, and you are lucky that 034 had lifted for you, or else you would have been facing the inside wall and probably.
Oh my goodness! Kyler Wynn just threw the biggest block of the weekend up front on Cade McClenny. They both got out of shape. They're still getting out of shape on the outside as McClenny and Wynn almost came together. The second time Wynn goes sideways in turn 2. Meanwhile, out back, Dalton Milam got his get back on Flanagan. He gets around the 31. Champagne is with him as Flanagan works the middle. Second group again has dropped way off this pack, and quite frankly, right now, I don't blame them. They are now about 2.3 seconds behind the leaders in terms of the draft range. They need to be 1.5. They are not. As this group, man, this is dire straits for pit stops if we get there, though, because they're going to be at a severe disadvantage. We'll see if we get to that point in this race. Back up front, Kyler Wynn now has retaken the lead with McClenny from Wilkerson. On the bottom now, it's Bassinez, Ward, and Lee and Guest who are all back up here after the near miss just a moment ago. And Evan, now it seems like these guys have realized, okay, maybe that was a little bit much. Well, maybe I stand corrected. Justin Champagne out back still trying to get racy. For the most part, though, the top 10 have kind of calmed down just a little bit here on lap 15.
Dawson, after that big save by everybody has toned it down a little bit, but we're still making the moves as if we have to make them on the last lap. Kyler Wynn, as you mentioned before, made a huge block to get himself into the lead. Now he wants to just be the leader of this race and control when everybody's going to start going for pit stops. Adam Tahan gets down, split down to the sucker hole by Kevin Champagne and David Flanagan. David Flanagan taking right rear just as he did in Heat 4 yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong. And now Adam Tahan has found a spot in line in front of Josh McCullough.
Boy, some big movers in this early in this group up here. John Ward, how about plus 24 for the driver of the 92, plus 18 for Jack Mace, plus 11 now for Michael Triscaro, plus 13 for David Flanagan, plus 21 for that Adam Tahan machine that you just talked about. He started this race in 38th position and now is just inside the top 20 back there in 18th. Oh boy, David Flanagan got him another one. That time it was Kevin Champagne. Champagne will be helped by his brother Justin in the middle lane, and they will both get back together and stay with the lead draft. But Flanagan again starting to make those moves clinically on the right rears of the drivers in front of him, trying to get some track position. Pit stops, we imagine, will start around lap 40 or so is the range of this Gen 6 race car. We'll see. You'll know when they get ready to pit. They'll all start to line up on the bottom. Right now, no signs of that, so you know they're nowhere close to a pit stop. Now back to 2 wide, and this is about as calm as it will get. This is kind of the middle portion of the race where now you've felt out your drivers around you. You've been a little aggressive. Now you know, okay, that was crossing the line just a little bit with the Matt Lee, John Ward, Michael Guest situation. And up front now, I think these guys just want to tick off some laps, but out back, Kevin Champagne, he's got his get back on David Flanagan. Flanagan gets stuck in the middle by the 94 of Champagne. He will go towards the tail end. Teammates on the top side, John Ward and Matt Lee on the bottom side know each other very well. Also, a lot of room being given here, Evan. Not even as much side drafting here from the top lane. They'll come down a little. You'll see it here. They're not, well, now they do come all the way to the door. Do Freddie Bassinez, Kyler Wynn, and Cade McClenny.
And we got Freddie Bassinez, Kyler Wynn. They're putting on a clinic right now. Every time it seems like they fall back, they just get back up to the front. Every time you get knocked down, you get brought back up harder. So, yeah, after a little mishap of Guest, Ward, and Lee, everything's just been calm now. Calm seas, no treacherous waters. You got John Ward, Kyler Wynn, all of those guys. They're just maintaining their cool. They're making sure that they have enough fuel to make it to the open window. Josh McCullough's under yellow line, trying to avoid Adam Tahan checking up. We had a huge stack up on the bottom between Justin Tutuchin and Adam Tahan. Now that's going to pull them back a little bit. As I've been watching my relative there, Dawson, the second pack did reel them in quite a bit a couple laps ago, and now with everybody keeping it calm up at the front pack, they have just lost it. Like, they're catching them about 2/10 every lap and then losing 2/10 every other lap.
Yeah, they started to gain some right there down the backstretch. They finally got this pushing figured out in this second group for a while. Jared Haynes and Stephen Miles, I'm not sure what was going on with the connection between those two, but they just could not get it going for whatever reason. Now, what will help this group back here is the fact that the top lane is now really pitching trouble. John Ward's around up front. The 92 goes sideways. He saved it. John Ward, the save of the year for the 92. He'll lose the pack, but more importantly for him, he'll keep his race car intact somehow, some way. John Ward, that was the save of a lifetime for the captain for Dega Pros.
John Ward got a huge shot from behind from Matt Lee and Michael Guest. It was Deja Vu 2.0, but what a way to control your car, keep it intact. You're not going to have the draft anymore. You're going to lose all your momentum, but damn, Ward, you did a dang good job saving that race car for yourself.
Here we get a replay of it. He was up front. He was receiving a push from Matt Lee, who's getting a push from Michael Guest, and as they try to get connected, it hooks the 92 sideways, and that is as unbelievable a save as you will ever see on the iRacing.com service for John Ward. Now, he has dropped even beyond, I think, the second pack, so John Ward is definitely going to need some help now in that 92 machine, as he has yet to pick up the tail end. Actually, he might have just barely picked up the tail end of that second pack. So John Ward in front of Chris Carter. He will maintain the second group. Actually, is going to benefit that group. It gives them an extra car, a little bit more energy for that group. They continue to lose time, but they're sticking around. They're keeping themselves in it, and that is what is important up front. Win on the outside, Bassinez on the inside. Lee and McClenny are the two pushers, and now they've gone back to this 2x2. They're not really racing much, perhaps trying to get to a pit stop. And if you're the guys up front, it quickly went from 40 guys for 20 spots to, if this thing goes green, it could be about 23 guys for 20 spots, which makes it a little bit easier for these guys to justify, hey, let's log some laps. Most of us are in if this race continues to go green and gets to that pit stop cycle. Kyler Wynn, big side draft right there in turn 3 off Bassinez. Top 3, almost top 4 back to Diedrich are clear. Bassinez tries to rally the bottom, though, here in turn 1. McClenny trying to push Wynn. He's telling Kyler Wynn there almost to come down a little bit. You saw him lean out of line to get temps, but also to say, hey, come down and side draft. They don't, and that allows Freddie Bassinez to go back to the lead off of 2.
Freddie Bassinez, Kyler Wynn side by side. Matt Lee's giving a huge shove to Freddie Bassinez. Is probably going to clear up going into the turn. We'll see what Freddie does. Yes, that is the textbook move that you're going to do. Now Matt Lee is going to get pushed by Michael Guest, one of the best pushers in the Coke Series, and Colin Keister's in tow, another Coke Series driver right behind him. Ever so slightly, I've been seeing Justin Champagne just try to make every move possible to get a run in the middle going. He's been trying to work Josh Iambroni every lap for the last 3 or 4 laps, and Josh Iambroni is just shutting the door on him every single time. That is one way to protect your right rear at the back, because you do not want to lose it. Lose the draft, lose anything, all your momentum. And Josh Iambroni is still shutting the door on him.
That second pack is whittling that gap down to the back end of this pack. It is now just 2.8 seconds that separate the tail end from the tail end of the opening pack from that the front of that second group that you now see. Oh, they scramble a little bit, though, back there. Not sure what happened in that second pack, but they all just got off the racetrack. They get back in line here into 3. They've kind of switched pushers now, and I think it's working for him. Miles the leader. Frady is now the pusher. They've got Jackson Anderson lined up to potentially push here as well. So they're chipping away at it, trying to gain just wherever they can. They're trying to get a little bit of ground. They lose some there on that lap, though. The most important part to me is they're staying in it. They're not all going to go a lap down. If you're on board now with Stephen Miles, they're not going to go a lap down running this pace right here. They'll continue to lose a little bit of time to the leaders. But when we get inevitably to a pit stop and things start to heat up later in the race, Evan, eventually we probably will have a caution flag in the late stages, and these guys will just be hanging around, biding their time, waiting until that caution flag flies.
Yeah, Dawson, but don't count your chickens before they hatch, because we've all said that, oh, this is going to be a caution fest, oh, this heat's going to be a caution fest, and we've had pretty tame heats for most of the weekend, so we don't want to start saying that all this stuff's going to happen, we're going to jinx it, but you never know. As we got David Flanagan, and who's that in front of him? That looks to be, I'm blanking, Kevin Champagne? I'm sorry, Spencer Burns. That is Spencer Burns right in front of him. They're taking him 3 wide back there. They're doing the clinical things. Kevin Champagne's going to file back in with his brother right behind him. Let's see what kind of moves the Champagne brothers are going to make, and see if they pop the champagne and spoil the party up at the front.
This is an ongoing battle here in Duel 1 between David Flanagan and Kevin Champagne. That's about the 3rd or 4th time that those two cars have interacted. And what are they going to do? They're going to go right back to the middle. The battle continues. The race within the race between the 31 and the 94. You just got to be careful here if you're either of those drivers to make sure it doesn't take your mind off the goal at hand, and that's ultimately racing your way into the SummerSlam 499. You can't let these little petty on-track fights keep either of them from doing that. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you want to have that battle tomorrow, you can have that battle tomorrow, but today, a little bit more important things to fight for. Kyler Wynn, Freddie Bassness continue to put on a clinic at the front of the field as continue to run two wide for most of the way back through this opening pack. Some bouts of 3 wide towards the tail end. And, you know, now these guys are just waiting. I said earlier that this is them ticking off laps. It's precisely what they're doing. They're not throwing big moves. They're not throwing big blocks. They're not grabbing right rears, with the exception of Flanagan and Kevin Champagne. They're not grabbing each other's right rears, trying to make desperation moves. This is drivers waiting for a green flag pit stop cycle, which we have not had yet in this event. Now, look at some of the names up here. Freddie Bassness, Matt Lee, Kyler Wynn, Michael Guest, Cade McClenny, Jacob Wilkerson. They know how to do green flag pit stops. It's not going to be a foreign concept, but when they get there, you still have to execute. And with a 137-degree track, certainly it can be made a little bit harder when you're trying to get those tires not to slide, either getting on pit road, getting in your box, getting out of your box. Drivers starting to think about that execution. This is the planning phase for your pit stop. It's going on, oh, by the way, all while you're a foot across from another car at 200 miles an hour.
Essentially, as you said, they're taking off laps. They're just making time. They're trying to pull themselves away from that second pack. We got a new leader of that second pack, being Michael Wingo. Let's see if fresh temps can prevail for them. But right now in this front pack, we have 23 drivers for 20 spots. Right now, as it sits, we're almost halfway in the race. Justin Champagne would be the final driver in, and Joey Beck would be the first driver out. So as we're going to approach the fuel window, I think we're going to approach the fuel window in about 3, 4, 5 laps from now. We're going to see pit stops. We're going to see Kyler Wynn, Matt Lee, and Freddie Bassness, some of the best that I've ever seen on pit stops, whether it's a super speedway, dirt track, whatever. Whenever they need to make a pit stop, you can always count on those guys to win it for you.
Well, yeah, we look forward now to the pit stop. It's going to be really interesting. If you'll remember back to February's PGR 500, in that 200-mile or 200-lap event, we had several green flag pit cycles, and those cycles completely dissolved this main pack. They created basically 3 individual groups out of what was at the time one cohesive pack of cars. So I expect the same to happen here. You'll see a lead group, you'll see a second group, and then from there it's just how much the pack fractures as a result of these pit stops. But it could affect the transfer positions. Maybe it's 6 cars in a group and 3 of them get in and 3 of them go home, or maybe it's 10 and 4 of them get in and 6 of them go home. You could very easily see a small group of cars for those transfer spots that don't have the energy in the pack that they have right now in this lead group. It's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out. I'll tell you what, a couple cars have now bailed to the bottom. Wynn and McClenny are starting to look that way. Jacob Wilkerson's backing off, trying to find himself a hole. That tells me they are getting ready to make pit stops. If they can make it past lap 30, they'll be able to make it the rest of the way. Well, right as I say that, as they bail to the bottom, there goes Bassness back to the help of his teammate Kyler Wynn. But Matt Lee continues to lead the inside lane. But guys are starting to try to look for those gaps on the bottom. It means pit stops are upcoming in the near future. It's not going to help that second pack, by the way, that continues to lose time from out back of the field. In fact, they've picked quite a bit of it back up. They've switched again back there. It's now Jeff Merck that leads the group with Stephen Miles and Matt Frady in tow. And Evan, they are making up time and making it up in a hurry.
Yeah, Dawson, that is probably 2 of the best leader-pusher duos that you want leading your second pack. Stephen Miles is one of the most aggressive pushers in the money racing community. I would always want him breathing down my back, pushing me to the front. I always want him anywhere near me because I always look up to Stephen. Stephen's is one of my great friends in the money racing community that I would consider. And Jeff Merck, he's one of the most ultra-aggressive guys, hyper-aggressive. He knows what to do, how to get to the front. Oh, we have a big push, big bobble from Freddie Bassness and Kyler Wynn.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, these guys have tested the waters a couple times with some of these pushes. The one to John Ward, the one to Kyler Wynn earlier with the big 4-wide situation in the middle that we saw early in the race. We've had a couple different situations now that almost triggered a crash that would completely turn this race on its head. Out back about 10 rows deep, 3 wide. Wilkerson's going to drop to the middle. Caden Diedrich is in the middle. So too is Jack Mace. 3 guys we expect to be working pretty closely together in this race. They're not going anywhere yet. They're trying to get something moving. And as this pack starts to spread out and starts to race a little harder, boy, David Flanagan, holy cow, he just threw it on the nose of Kevin Champagne. So that battle continues. But as this continues to happen, that second pack is going to benefit from this because these guys start to race just that little bit harder. He actually lost about 4 to 5 tenths the last couple laps when Matt Frady became the pusher up front. So once they can get another pusher in line, I think they'll start to pick that time back up. Certainly within striking distance, if they can gain about another second, they're going to make this thing really interesting. 3 wide back around Michael Triscaro, Cade McClenny, and I believe that is the 15 of Keister on the bottom, pulling through for the first time. Oh, Michael Triscaro! Big block that he threw in the middle of the pack. It almost backfires as he blocked Jacob Wilkerson, and that was almost massive. Triscaro swung that car down in line trying to get ready to pit, and it almost backfired for the 34.
Michael Triscaro with a huge, almost egregious block. I'm not going to call it egregious, but it was almost egregious. That nearly knocked Jacob Wilkerson off the track and back up into the playing field, but Jacob Wilkerson, hell of a race car driver. He knows how to handle a race car when it's spinning. I had all faith in him as we're going to have a huge checkup on the bottom behind Caden Diedrich. Oh, man. We're getting ready for pit stops, Dawson, and I don't know if you could feel it coming, but I feel a lot of smoke in the tires coming in on entry.
Yeah, and that, again, is helping that second group as they check up to let guys in, and as they start to run a little less aggressive, it helps those guys out back. They're within 2.3 seconds of that tail end of the draft now as this line snakes. Oh, trouble! Caden Diedrich, Jack Mace, Justin Champagne come together mid-pack. They all keep it going, but another thing that will help that second pack as this first one tries to get back together. Almost another crash there with Adam Tahan, but they get it back sorted out. It's going to allow that second pack now to run within 2 seconds for the first time. They need to be about a second and a half back to start sniffing that draft, as we call it, and they're getting very close to that number now, 1.8 for the second group. Wynn continues to lead. Flanagan, Kevin Champagne, well, enemies turned allies, I presume, trying to get to the front. As those two lead that line, Josh Tambroni, Joey Beck from the back to the front of the lead pack. They'll come around as well. And Evan, that makes me ask the question, are those four on a different strategy than some of the leaders that are about to get ready to pit?
Honestly, Dawson, I have no idea. I think they're trying to gain as many positions as possible so they can have a better approach to their pit boxes and their pit entry. Josh Giambroni, if I know one thing about Josh Giambroni, also one of my good friends in the money racing community, he likes to make every pass possible. If you open the door slightly, and we got pit stops, Dawson.
Pit stops coming here on lap number 34, and it will be most of the lead draft. Kyler Wynn leads them in. Bassines, Tahan, oh, contact on pit road. Adam Tahan gets spun around. The 7 car is backwards on pit road, or was almost backwards. But the cars on pit road here are mostly from that front draft. Wynn, Bassines, Matt Lee, Michael Guest, Colin Keister, Carol Kanatovich, Caden Diedrich, Jacob Wilkerson, Josh McCullough, Spencer Burns, Cohen Thompson, Casey Sprinkle, Jackson Wise, to Tunchin, Mace, Dallaire, Anderson, Tahan. The cars on pit road here on lap number 35. That leaves the lead as these guys work through their service in the hands of David Flanagan up front. Here comes the exit for these guys. Quick exit for Josh McCullough. He'll gain some spots. Penalty. Kirill Kanatovich on pit road. Too fast exiting for the driver of the 17. He will receive an a drive-through penalty. Front pack coming in again. David Flanagan, Josh Tambroni, Kevin Champagne, Cade McClenny, Joey Beck, Michael Triscaro, Dalton Meelam, Justin Champagne. The second group coming to pit road has some more problems. Miles, Haynes, Merck, Reel, Taylor, Chickham, Ward, the 77 of Harvey, and there was some contact out back, and the big loser out of that one was Jeff Merck, also Matt Frady on pit road. But the second group, Haynes slides through his pit box in the 7 machine. A mistake for the driver for the Jack Shack on pit road.
That is not what you want to see as you were trying to reel in the main pack, but now you got David Flanagan rolling off pit road. I think he's going to be having the lead. No. Who is that in front of him? That is Joey Beck, one of the new guys, one of the free entry winners. And we got Michael Wingo, who is on a different strategy. I hope it plays out for Michael Wingo, but he's all by himself, and he's going to lose so much time on the racetrack. As we got the leaders filing in and out, we got Casey Sprinkle leading a pack. And it looks to be like, oh man, it's going to be ever so slightly so close. David Flanagan and Joey Beck are going to blend in. I think they're going to wax these guys off of pit road, Dawson.
Really good work by Flanagan and Joey Beck on and off pit road. Good work as well by Casey Sprinkle, Josh McCullough, and Jackson Wise, who appear to be working together. They will actually inherit the race lead here provisionally once those guys come off pit road. What this pit stop has done is it has fractured this pack into several smaller groups. There's the lead group of 6 back to Kyler Wynn. They'll likely be caught here by the group led by Michael Guest. That has Guest, Bassines, and Keister. They run just off the back bumper of them. Behind that group is where it gets a little bit hairy with Kevin Champagne, Josh Jambroni, Justin Champagne, Stephen Miles, and company back here. That group is Champagne, Jambroni, Justin Champagne, Miles, Meelam, Ward, McClenny, and they're about to be caught by the group with Matt Lee, Caden Diedrich, Spencer Burns, and Jacob Wilkerson. That takes you back to the transfer position, and it leaves Jared Haynes to lead a group that is 4 seconds back with Kenny Reel, and they're trying to get lined up. But if this race were to stay green, Evan, the hope's starting to go up in smoke for Jared Haynes, Kenny Reel, and all those drivers 21st on back.
It was just the deficit that they had originally to begin with when they were coming to pit stops, and then also the minor inexcusable mistakes on pit road that are just going to blow this lead even worse out of the water. It is just those things you need to take in. You gotta prep for these kind of things because you know the track temp is hot. You gotta brake early. You got all this kind of stuff, but you got Josh Giambroni all over the place on the back of Kevin Champagne as they're just trying to make work to get to this main pack. Coming up on a lap car of Michael Triscara. I wonder what happened to him. Oh man, Michael Triscara was up front nearly leading the race, and now he's fallen behind. Oh man, poor Mike. You just can't catch a break with these Gen 6 cars, but right now it just seems like we have about 9 cars under a blanket to go for this heat or this dual win later on in about 20 laps.
Second pack's going to get some help here. It was the penalty car of Kananovic that will bridge the gap. Look at Sprinkle and McCullough. What in the world is going on with the 05 and the 59? They jump to the outside here. They're going to go 3 wide up front. This is not going to be a help to anybody running in this lead pack. That second group is going to now try to run them down from out back. Triscaro catches onto the tail end of this line as he tries to await a lucky dog position perhaps. But boy, what in the world is going on up front? Kyler Wynn inherits the lead as that second group of Sprinkle, Buys, and a couple of others they just moved out of the way. That was really odd to me. What that indicates is one of a couple of things. Number one, they're trying to bridge perhaps that second pack and get guys back into the lead group. Or number two, and potentially the worst option for the 33, the 59, a couple other cars, is that they might be short on fuel.
Yeah, Dawson, that's what I was wondering. I wonder if they moved out of the way because they took less fuel on the pit stop because they burned guys like Kyler Wynn, Michael Guest, Freddie Baznis all out of pit road. They completely waxed them. Same thing goes for David Flanagan and Joey Beck. I wonder if they all took less fuel, so that's why they're kind of just staying in the draft, staying behind these guys, just clutching it, just trying to save as much fuel as you can in that gas tank. But I want to talk about something. John Ward, who was nearly wrecked about half the race ago, he's in 15th in that second pack. Like, he has made a great recovery, and he's in a top 20 transfer position. So kudos to John Ward for not giving up, keep digging, and all that kind of stuff. And as we got a battle for the lead up at the front, I think in the next about 15 laps or so, we're gonna call a battle for the ages, Dawson.
Oh, we'll see, because now the question as a driver turns to the top 20 cars have separated themselves from the guys behind them from Jared Haynes on back. And as such now, if you're in one of these two lead packs, you almost can try to say, look, we can all race tomorrow. As of right now, all of the guys in the first two packs, back to Jacob Wilkerson, the last car in that second group on the lead lap, are in the top 20 advance, and it's 5.5 seconds back to Jared Haynes in 21st, and they're not gaining any real time as of right now. Could that change? 100% it could change. If that group with Jared Haynes and Kenny Reel and company starts to gain a little bit of time, then you may decide, okay, hey, now maybe we do need to start racing a little bit here at the front. The dual win for some will matter. $100 to a dual winner, it may be a big deal. It may be that you want to profit before you go into tomorrow's race, but you have to balance it with number one goal is make the race. And up front, I just can't imagine where these guys would want to race too hard for a dual win, knowing that potentially that they could be out if they decide to do so. Really interesting here, developing top 6 have driven away back to Joey Beck. From Josh McCullough on back are starting to lose touch with this opening pack. We could end up with a 6-car breakaway here for the win in Duel 1.
Yeah, I'm very, very concerned as to why Josh McCullough, Jackson Buys, and Casey Sprinkle are moving all the way back, unless they are just not trusting themselves to make it on fuel, so they're just trying to slow down their own pace. They got Michael Triscaro behind them. It seems as if they're just protecting Mike to make sure he gets a lucky dog if a caution just so happens to come out. You never know with the battle. We have about 8, 9, 10 cars fighting under a blanket in the second pack. They're all fighting for a transfer position. But I want to take note of somebody that is in...
Caution flag is on the racing surface, and hold everything in dual race number 1 as the caution flies, and it was trouble for someone here. I do not see it currently on my live timing and scoring, but there was a crash that has brought out the caution flag here in dual race number 1. Hold everything. Hearing it might be Dalton Meelam in the 034 that has brought out the caution flag here in dual race number 1. We'll go back, we'll take a quick look back around the Meelam machine, and there it is. Dalton Meelam gets turned out of line by John Ward and Cade McClenny, and with 3 cars getting contact in this incident and the cars on rushing in that third pack, it was enough to bring out the yellow flag with 18 laps to go. We'll get another look here. They are riding in line, and this, Evan, is what I was talking about with just over 15 to go. These guys were all locked into the show. They could all make it. I know you want to get back to the lead pack, and you're still going to try to win a race. But ultimately right here, the line checks up. McClenny goes through Ward, through Meelam. A couple cars lucky to get out of that one without damage. But for Meelam, a tough break. For the guys, 21st on back, welcome back. You just earned yourself another opportunity.
And that was the biggest break anybody could have asked for. Jared Haynes, Kenny Reel, 2 Jack Shack drivers that lost touch. They're now going to get back together with their other teammate that has been riding in the 6 cars under a blanket, Mr. David Flanagan, Mr. Ice in his veins, as I like to call him. But from that caution, it just looks like a bad push going wrong. Cade McClenny got into the right rear of John Ward, setting him into the right rear of Dalton Meelam. It was just a stack up gone wrong. I would expect that Cade McClenny would get the Neil Well blame here. But we have new life, Dawson, and now we got those guys that were saving fuel at the front. They could save fuel under this caution and hopefully make it to the end. But we do have 3 green-white checkers to worry about.
Yeah, and I do want to update the fuel scenario. I want to update the guys that are now able to get back into the race as well. So on the fuel scenario, we found out that at least 1 car had to save on that green flag run, and that was Joey Beck in the 77. He did not take a lot of fuel on that race car. We expect the same is true for Josh McCullough and Casey Sprinkle, perhaps Jackson Buys as well. So those 4 we knew were potentially right on their number or short and having to save under the green flag. That's why they dropped off that lead draft. So it makes a little sense there. A big break for those guys now to save under this caution and maintain track position. Then we have to talk about the guys that are now earning basically a mulligan in this race. And that's back around guys like Jared Haynes, guys like Kenny Reel, guys like Cal Harvey and Matt Frady and Jet Merck, you know, guys that were back around those transfer spots or outside them that now have an opportunity to race their way into the SummerSlam 499. Jack Nace was in that position in the 07. He had lost the draft. Ambrose Kniebel had lost the draft. Justin and Kevin Champagne were in that second group that just had the caution. Biggest break of all, I think, beyond the guys saving fuel, though, Evan, the man that just went 1 lap down, you could not have timed it much better, as series owner Michael Triscaro is back on the lead lap in that 34 machine.
Michael Triscaro, just when the cards were folded, he pulled 21 on the blackjack dealer. But right now, this doesn't mean that he's safe. That means he's going to get a lucky dog. He's got to start at tail end, even behind some lap cars. So he's got to methodically work his way through the field like he did in his heat race. I have all my trust in Michael Triscaro. Even though sometimes he likes to call himself the most unclutched person, I think Michael Triscaro has enough experience in this car, enough experience super speedway racing to lock himself into the feature tomorrow. But other than that, another big break was for John Ward. John Ward and those guys ensuing behind them. John Ward, he was nearly spun about 40 laps ago, and now he's got a shot to get back at the lead and maybe get back to up to the win and take it home. He's going to start front row in the feature tomorrow. Oh, I'm just so excited for these last 15 laps that are going to ensue.
It's going to be a fun one. It will be 14 laps to go in dual race number 1 when we get back under the green flag conditions. We'll take a moment now under the first caution flag of Duel 1, if you can believe that, or I believe the second caution of Duel number 1. But regardless, boy, what a race it has been. And we'll take a moment now while we have a quick break. We're going to get a quick word from one of the drivers, and I think it is convenient. The sponsor driver in dual race number 1 is the field. Is in the field here in dual race number 1. He runs back outside the transfer positions right now. Let's get the game plan from the NBG driver quickly. It's Jeff Merck in the 60 machine. Let's get a quick word with him. Jeff, it's the boys in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
What's up, fellas?
Well, not much. Look, you have the sponsorship of Duel Race number 1. Obviously, a pretty big deal that we're getting to promote here on this first Duel Race. But look, quickly before we go back green, outside the transfer spots by a little bit, this one is sure to get a little bit hectic back around where you run right now on the racetrack. What's the game plan for the number 60 entry here when we go back green?
First of all, happy birthday to my wife, January 10th. Taking her to Panama on a cruise. Love you, baby. And yeah, getting in the show is I got to pick up like 2 spots. I want to pick up more than that where I'm comfortable, but we're just gotta play it by ear and see what happens, because these things get crazy at the end. I can't transfer if I'm in a wreck car.
Well, absolutely, it will get hectic. One more thing before we let you get back to work inside that number 60 machine. Any communication with the drivers around you? Anybody you're looking to kind of team up with here to get all of you guys in the show with 15 laps to go?
Yeah, Triscaro's back here somewhere, but he's lucky dog, so he's way behind me. I'm just, right now I'm looking out for myself. If Triscaro gets up here to where I'm at, we could possibly link up and we can help each other, but I can't go back to where he is. I'm too close to the transfer spot right here.
We're looking forward to continue to watch you work. You get an opportunity here to race your way in the show. Best of luck the rest of the way here in Duel number 1, and we'll see what you can do here on this restart.
All right, guys, appreciate it.
Jeff Merck, the 60. They're the sponsor for Duel Race number 1. As he is just outside the transfer spots. He's got some work cut out for him here. You heard him say he wants to get in the transfer, but he really wants to be comfortable. He's got to get more than 3 spots to do that. Kyler Wynn, Michael Guest on the front row. Duel 1 comes down to 14 laps. Green flag back in the air, and here we go. It's going to get crazy at the end of Duel Race number 1. Everyone now back in it for the most part for those 20 transfer spots. Up the banking in turn number 1 for the first time out back. First move 3 wide is Jackson Anderson and Jeff Merck. They've got Cal Harvey, Justin Champagne, and Kevin Champagne shading to come with them. Up front continues to be 2 wide. Wynn, Bassin is stuck on the bottom. Big block by Josh Chambroni in the Corona Chevrolet. Ward splits back to the middle. He's getting driven through by Matt Lee. They're in the wall out back. Ward, Lee, scramble. Tahan goes to the middle. Lee goes to the middle. McClenny scrambles to the top. It is all out war back there around the transfer positions. Win and Guess for the lead in 3.
Josh Chambroni with a huge block on John Ward to secure his position. He just wants to keep himself up there. Oh, John Ward's going to make a move on him. And Kay McClenny is with him. No, Kay McClenny goes back with Josh Chambroni. Oh, buddy, Kay McClenny can't pick a lane. John Ward moves to the bottom. We got a bunch of fighting. We got a fight within the race, like a race within the race. I'm at a loss for words at what we got going on right now, but we got the 3 teammates of Wynn, Bazinez, and Guest leading on the outside. I'm assuming that they are working with Colin Keister as well, but you got David Flanagan getting pushed by Josh McCullough and Casey Sprinkle, who are also teammates. Oh, man, this is going to be a great battle to the end.
David Flanagan now leads the inside charge as Kyler Wynn and Freddie Bassinez get clear to the lead here into the banking of turn number 3. Wynn throws the block to the bottom. Flanagan has no choice but to push. Now he'll go up. Flanagan separates the teammates. It's a Jack Shack 31 now second. Bassinez looking for his right rear. Can't get it. Bottom now led by McCullough and Sprinkle. Steven Miles, where did he come from in the 88? Third on the inside in front of John Ward. Out back of the leaders up top. Joey Beck in the 77 comes to mind. So does Jackson Buys. It's guys that might have been short on gas that now can just put the throttle to the floor and hope for the best. Bassinez to the inside. Flanagan makes contact with him in turn 2. Bassinez splits the 31. Everybody going with Michael Guest, Freddie Bassinez, and Kyler Wynn. Jackson Buys will pick up Flanagan on the outside now, and that may be bad news. Oh, 4 wide almost with Jackson Buys. He goes to the inside of Flanagan. He's going to go the wrong way. Back to 3 wide. Flanagan somehow stays inside the top 10 after all of that scramble.
Josh Chambroni, David Flanagan, Kay McClenny, they all linked up. They got past John Ward, Jackson Anderson, Jackson Buys. Oh, man, Josh Chambroni, what a save off the corner. He just got rear-ended by Kay McClenny. You got to go up, Josh Chambroni. You got to block. You got to keep your momentum still. Steven Miles goes through the middle. He's going to get Jacob Wilkerson. No, he's not. And he gets cleared to the top side. Matt Lee, he was just down the sucker hole. It looked like his race was nearly over, and now he's getting saved by Kay McClenny, who just saved Josh Chambroni's race. Matt Lee's coming with a huge run from Kay McClenny and John Ward behind him. Oh, man, here comes Matt Lee.
Man, welcome to the party, Matt Lee. 3 wide, 8 rows, 9 rows deep in the field. Almost 30 cars under a blanket, 3 wide. Wynn and Bassinet continue to lead. Trouble! Out back, car spinning. Into the outside wall go a couple. Caution not out yet. That car slid off the racetrack, and Race Control holds the caution flag until now. Caution flag number 2. The field's got to roll out of it. It's Dalton Meelam again in the 034 that's involved in this one. And with a meatball flag and no fast repair, this may be all she wrote for the driver of the 034, Dalton Meelam, as this one got started towards the tail end of the lead pack. I thought for a moment Race Control would hold the caution flag. In the end, though, as he comes back up, the second pack was coming along to them. Let's see what happened to the 034 running right in front of Jack Mace. Check up on the bottom, it looks like to me. Jack Mace gets in the back of Meelam just a little. He goes sideways. Mace is in this. Merck may be in this as well. Great job by Adam Tahan to miss it, as well as Kirill Kananovic. For Meelam, unfortunately, a lot of damage on board at 034 machine. You'll see the contact again here. And Evan, we mentioned the checkups in the heat races. You mentioned them earlier as well. Jack Mace doesn't quite get the memo, gets in the back of Meelam. It's on from there in turn number 3.
It's just a tough break for Dalton Meelam. He was an innocent bystander in the first wreck, and now he's an innocent bystander in this other wreck. It's just not going Dalton Meelam's way. It's not going to be his night. I hate to see that for Dalton Meelam. He's a stand-up guy. He knows how to get himself into these positions, but something's got to give. Jack Mace has to check up. You know these checkups are going to be bad on the bottom, especially with huge runs and huge mow and everybody having to clear their temps. But other than that, we go back to side by side with Kyler Wynn, Fazinez, and Guest. They've just controlled this race, but don't count out Matt Lee and Josh McCullough. They were coming on the bottom in the middle. They have a hand in this fight.
And boy, Matt Lee got here in a hurry with Cade McClenny. That happened in about a half a straightaway. They went from back around the transfer spots, the final transfer spots, to about 4th and 7th on the racetrack in a matter of seconds as they got that middle line moving. And just as that incident happened, I mean, you want to talk about picturesque, it was 3 by 3 by 3, 9 rows deep in the field of this dual race. This is the point in the race the drivers were waiting for, when you can kind of, race with a little less abandon, race a little more, I won't say recklessly, it's not the right word to use, but really kind of lay it all on the line to get in. And you look at, John Ward is one you mentioned. I'll go with Michael Wingo, who was kind of caught out on that fuel strategy earlier. You talk about, a couple other guys, Kenny Reel, Jared Haynes still on the outside looking in, so is Michael Triscaro. Like, guys that now are in that position to lay it all on the line. You're only going to have 7 laps to go. That's not a lot of time, and you've got a lot more cars to get through. Now, you only have to get to 20th, but for some of these guys back in the 27th, 30th, 33rd positions, I mean, it's a tough ask. Quick housekeeping note, Kirill Kananovic back on the lead lap as the lucky dog under this caution in the 17. He had the pit road penalty on the green flag pit stop, so for Kananovic, a good break. He'll have a chance to race his way in. The final spot on the racetrack on the lead lap. He is 37th, I believe, on the speedway. Car still laps down. Cohen Thompson is a couple laps down, I believe. He's only 1 lap down, excuse me, in that 38th position. Andre Chickham and Chris Carter, the other two, 1 lap down. But Evan, as we get into the final 7 laps, I got to imagine those guys, you've just got to keep after it and ride a little bit behind the pack. Try to get yourself a lucky dog if you're one of those 3 guys. I cannot imagine this is the last caution that we see in this dual race.
Yeah, not even talking about the guys at the back. You got guys at the front like David Flanagan and Josh McCullough that took way less fuel on those green flag pit stops, and I'm wondering how much have they saved? How much will they have left in the tank for any possible green-white checkers? Like, you're referring to that we're going to get a caution. We might get multiple. Who knows how this thing is going to play out? So I just wonder if these guys at the front that are in prime position to transfer into the feature have enough fuel to make it in case we have any green-white checkers. But for those guys at the back, we just talked to Jeff Merck a couple laps ago. He started back up in 22nd, and he dropped all the way down to 30th after that run. We got a bunch of people that are just jockeying for position, but don't count out the 2 Jack Shack teammates of Kenny Reel and Jared Haynes. They're going to line up one outside, one inside in the row behind. They're going to probably try to get one another up or get in behind another, and they're going to try to make a run for this thing.
A couple more teammates back around that area too. Michael Triscaro, 27th. Jeff Merck in 30th. We're looking forward to watch those guys work. Justin Champagne and Kevin Champagne, 21st, 23rd. They're also outside the transfer positions and looking in. And boys, you get ready to do this, to make this restart as a driver. These pace laps are long. They feel so long if you're in the cockpit right now, because you know what is at stake and you know how fast you can go from, looking out the front of Joey Beck right here. You know how fast you can go from on the outside of row 4 very easily in the show to maybe your run ends today. It can be a matter of seconds. One wrong move from really not even yourself. It can be someone to your inside. It can be someone to your outside doing something that costs you your spot. It can happen so fast. These pace laps, as you kind of get yourself ready physically and mentally, they're the longest pace laps of the afternoon here for these guys, maybe except the ones to start the race. Let's re-rack it for you. It will be 7 laps to go for this dual race number 1. Kyler Wynn and Freddie Bassines have done a really good job up front controlling the field. Imagine the moves out back of them will get a little bit bigger here late. Row 2 going to be Michael Guest and Matt Lee. Row 3 going to be Josh McCullough, who has survived this field strategy. He will go from 5th. It'll be Colin Keister in 6th. And it's Cade McClenny 7th, Joey Beck 8th, Casey Sprinkle 9th, and John Ward back in 10th. Final transfer spot as they run is Jackson Anderson. But boy, some of the names they've got behind them: Justin Champagne, Kevin Champagne, Matt Frady, Kenny Reel, Jared Haynes, Max Dinda, Michael Triscaro, Spencer Burns. I mean, it's some of the who's who of super speedway racing that are outside looking in with just 7 laps to go. Well, it comes down to this. 20 spots are up for grabs. 20 guys in, 21 guys out. Kyler Wynn and Freddie Bassines have dominated this dual race number 1. Green flag back in the air. It's Wynn off to the races. Guest along with him. Big push on the inside. They'll both likely be clear, unless Bassines has something to say, and he will. Bassines maintains 2nd. Guest with no help on the bottom. Wynn has a decision to make here in the 1, and he will stay home. Oh, until the last possible second now. Wynn jumps up on the bumper of his teammate Bassines. It's Guest on the bottom with McCullough, McClenny, and Sprinkle. And out back, Evan, it's going to start to get real interesting back around that 20th spot.
We have Jacob Wilkerson, who fell off the pace of Stephen Miles, getting a huge run generated from Josh Ambrody and Michael Winger. Will they take it to the bottom? No, they won't. Kevin Champagne moves to the bottom. Will his brother, and Kenny Reel's coming. Where does Kenny Reel come from? David Flanagan's up at the top, taking right rears. Oh my God, we are going to make some desperate moves. One in the wall in the back. Michael Triscaro nearly spins out.
That was Jackson Anderson and Spencer Burns that got the wall as Burns looked to the right rear of Anderson. Triscaro's in the middle pushing Max Dinda, and they're making a little bit of headway. Jeff Merck is with him. Another car back behind them as well as they try to get through the middle. That's right back around that 20th position. In fact, on the racetrack, Dinda runs in 25th right now. They're trying to make it work. John Ward stuck in the middle now in the 92. He's going backwards. They'll have to try to pick him up here in the middle line of the racetrack or bail somewhere else. They bailed the top right as they get to Ward. Up front, Michael Guest has inherited the race lead. Josh McCullough now leads the bottom with Cade McClenny and Casey Sprinkle. Kevin Champagne, by the way, from 21st to inside the top 10. Same with Kenny Reel, who now runs in the 10th spot in the 11 car. Flanagan, Miles, they're not in great spots anymore for those transfers back around Jackson buys. They're going to have to probably get a couple more spots. Certainly not comfortable right now. When they get back, it's the 5 out the flag stand from Barney the Flagman. 5 laps to go in duel number 1 as Guest leads back to turn 1.
John Ward, Jacob Wilkerson is going to take the run with John Ward. They're going to move to the middle. Stephen Miles goes with them. Wow, that was a close one for Stephen Miles. Now we got David Flanagan, who's trapped up there. Miles is getting up into the buys. Oh, we got one in the wall. Michael Wingo in the back. They save it. They're 3 wide. They're 4 wide all the way in the back. Cars below the double yellow line. This is getting hairy. Very hairy for the transfer spots. Right now, as it looks, Caden Dietrich is the guy that's going to be in. Kenny Reel's going to take a right wide. 4 wide
with Keister. Buys in the back of Keister. Miles in the back of Buys. They're 4 wide. Out back 10th on deep in the field. Buys somehow keeps that car under, but he will be the big loser now as guys look for right rears. No clue how Colin Keister kept his car underneath him. Somehow he did. Miles, Wilkerson continue to work the middle. They're inside the top 12. Trying to one off the racetrack. Brady makes the save, another legendary save in this duel race. We got to go back to the front, though. Reel getting a push from Joey back up top. He's getting pushed through by Flanagan. Matt Taylor jumps all the way to the top side. He's into the transfer spots all of a sudden. Coming back next time, 3 laps to go at Talladega in duel race number 1. The middle just lost all of its momentum that it had. All of those guys basically were inside the transfer spots. Now all of them are out of them as they work back into 3. Wilkerson getting a big push from John Ward, and here comes the middle back to the party off turn 4.
Michael Triscaro is coming through with the middle. When you counted him out, don't count him out just yet. Jackson Anderson's going to bail on him. The top's going to stack up. Kenny Reel after making 4 wide. David Fleeting and Josh Jambroni. These two are not the best of friends, but I think they're working together to get themselves in. Jeff Merck's the odd man out. Jared Haynes is going to move up to the middle. Huge block on Joey Beck. They're all going to save it. David Flanagan is now the odd man out. Caden Diedrich is also the odd man out. We got about 10 rows of 3 wide racing, all for transfer positions, all for the win, and Cade McClenny's going to go to the lead.
How about Cade McClenny in that green and yellow Chevrolet? He bursts through the middle and gets to the lead on the push of Kyler Wynn. Wilkerson, Ward, Triscaro through the middle in the 34. Now those two will leave it. Triscaro's got to go back to the push. The middle will come down just a little bit to try to side draft, and now the top is kind of stuck. Stephen Miles leads that with Matt Taylor. Matt Lee's going to lead the middle now on Keister. Bassett has trouble. The crash erupts. The big one in the tri-oval. Matt Lee, Matt Taylor. The field flies apart. Jared Haynes crashes. Matt Lee, Stephen Miles is involved, and the field comes apart in the tri-oval with 2 laps to go.
Wow. I don't know what to say, but I might be calling it early, but I think that's going to be on Freddie Basnes for a really, really egregiously late block on Matt Lee. Matt Lee obviously had the run coming through the middle with help from Jacob Wilkerson, I believe, and Freddie Basnes just cut his nose off, plain and simple. And as Matt Lee is getting pushed through from behind, he can't save that. The car's getting too out of shape for him to do that. Oh, man. My heart is racing. I feel bad for Matt Lee. Matt Lee is one of the best in the community, one of the most open guys in the field, and yeah, that's just inexcusable by Freddie Basnes. For somebody that is very highly touted as a recruit in our money racing scene, you can't make those mistakes. You just might have jeopardized your own chances at making the feature.
It might be easier to say who's not involved than who is. You're going to go on board with Matt Lee here in turn 3, and you'll see the block by Basson. As we know, Miles is involved. There are other cars back here that are in this as well, but we'll try to get more information for you as we go. I believe Kenny Reel's involved in this as well in the 11. There's the block by Basson as Lee, and you're helpless if you're Matt Lee. Matt Taylor comes into it. They crash more up ahead. Jared Haynes gets turned. Kenny Reel's in the outside wall. You see Matt Taylor getting hit. Oh, man, Andre Chickham got a piece of it in the 12 machine. Jambroni. Oh, my goodness. Who in the world was that car upside down in the exit of the tri-oval? Well, we may have to go back and take a look at that. Oh, my goodness. I have no idea. I have no... They had already crashed, and someone was upside down, I think. There's a black and yellow car. Was it Matt Lee that goes upside down here?
No, that is not Matt Lee. I think that might be...
Is it Cohen Thompson, perhaps?
Might be Cohen Thompson. That might be Cohen Thompson.
Cars coming on the scene. There's a minefield over here on the exit of the tri-oval. As I think this is Matt Frady gets on the scene. Holy cow. We've got a number of cars that are in this one. So Cohen Thompson, the car that was upside down under this caution, he drove away. So the 054, I can't help but laugh at him driving away from this incident. But we're watching on board here towards the tail end of the field. This group had lost the draft, and they're going to come onto the scene very quickly here. And let's see what they see when they get in. Look at Max Dinda. I mean, he's on the brakes. He's standing on the brakes just trying to stay out of this. And look at this minefield. Oh, my goodness. Cohen Thompson ramps over a car, flips onto his roof, lands on Spencer Burns, and comes to a stop on his wheels and drives away. You're on board now with the Monster Energy entry of Cohen Thompson, one of the wildest rides we've seen. Oh, boy, he got into the back of Andre Chickham, and he's coming on the scene. He's going way too fast, and he ramps over Spencer Burns and lands on top of the 06. Can't imagine that's the angle that Spencer Burns wanted to have with that caution flag. So Burns is involved. Thompson, Haynes, Reel, and all of the guys that are involved in the initial crash. I mean, this is going to be about 15 cars when all of a sudden you see Matt Lee. Oh, my goodness. I mean, Thompson comes in there doing 140 miles an hour and hits Spencer Burns. Now, the good thing, I think, for Burns, I guess, is that it looks to be mostly just rear bumper damage on the 06. And we may not have even covered everyone that was involved, but that seems to be most of them. Evan, the big one, strikes at the front of the field with 2 to go and turns the duel race completely on its head.
Bomb has went off, Dawson. It almost seems like that was just... It was just uncalled for by Freddie Basnes. You obviously saw that he had a huge run going. This has been stressed by our RCs, Michael Triscaro and Matthew Baker, all weekend long, that if you make an egregious block like that, you're going to get penalized. And Freddie Basnes just... That was just immature. Like, You can't do that. You've ruined not only a bunch of other drivers' chances to make the feature, but you might have ruined your own chances of making the feature, because now I think he's going to be called with the EOL on that, and he's going to be lining up all the way back in 32nd, 33rd, 34th area. I mean, if I were Matt Lee, I would just take it to him. I'm not inciting that you do anything to Freddie Bazinez, but I'm saying that you have to, like, you have to just lay the law down. I mean, it's inexcusable.
I have not yet seen an official call. I can tell you Freddie Bazinez is working from the 32nd position here, so I have to imagine that he has received the penalty for the block here on this incident that will send us into our first overtime attempt. And that completely turns the field now on its head. Stephen Miles, who I had circled as one of the favorites for the event, out in 39th position. His run comes to an end in this dual race number 1. Spencer Burns, likely same fate for the 06 as he continues to sit on pit road multiple laps down. Andre Chico is 1 lap down in the 37th position. He's going to need some help as well. Dalton Meelam, I believe, got a piece of that incident. So too did Kenny Reel. Those cars are rolling. So is Chris Carter. Matt Lee continues to roll in the 04, so we'll see what the status of the Martin Sports Toyota is when he gets back around and catches up on the back end of the field. You have guys back there. Jambroni was involved in this. Frady was involved in this. Dinda got on the brakes. He may have missed this, but I mean, we're talking up towards 25th position of guys that have damage as a part of this incident, and the race completely flips on its head. Let's give you the update of where the guys that got through it are running. Up front, complete shuffle here in the top 10. Caden McClenny is your leader. Michael Guest is second. Row 2 is Kyler Wynn and Jacob Wilkerson. Then it's Josh McCullough and Casey Sprinkle 5th and 6th. It's John Ward 7th, Colin Keister 8th, Michael Triscaro 9th, and Kevin Champagne up to 10th. And then after that, Ethan Dallaire, Jeff Merck, Jackson Anderson. And these are guys that were running 30th a moment ago that are just outside the top 10. 3 overtime attempts, not 1. There will be 3 if needed. This is the first. If the field makes it to the white flag, we'll settle it right here. Who gets in? Who will not? Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go at Talladega in PGR overtime. McClenny off to the races with Kyler Wynn pushing him. Wilkerson a little slower to the punch from second on back. Jeff Burke looked 3 wide around the 94 Champagne. He's got to be careful because he's got Justin Champagne behind him. Cal Harvey until on the outside, and around the transfer spots, Jared Haynes has it. David Flanagan, Joey Beck, Jack Mace back there around that spot as well. That will be the battle for who makes it off of 2. trouble!
up into
Flanagan turns to Tuchin. Crash in the back to Tuchin airborne into the outside wall. Another car got into him. Caution right back out. We're going to a second overtime. Oh, a meatball flag for Justin Tuchin. Likely means his run in the SummerSlam 499 is at least going to be hampered here. He'll need some help as he labors at 42 to the pit lane. Let's go take a look. And it was back around the 31 of David Flanagan. He rolled right up the track. I'm not sure if he was trying to go to the middle or what occurred on this incident with Flanagan, but as he turned right, Tuchin was there. He gets into the 42, and a wild ride for the driver of that black and orange Ford Mustang. As he gets in the wall, that's what's going to trigger, I believe, the wheel damage, the suspension damage that would give him that, what we call a meatball flag, which is essentially a flag. And in the simplest terms I can say it, it's, hey, you need to come get your car fixed. Is the easiest way I can put that. That's what Tuchin has. Watch Flanagan. I mean, he drives right into Tuchin's left rear. Kind of curious. It looked maybe as if there was a strafe to the left for the 42. I'm kind of curious about that. It did not look like it from our first broadcast angle. I'm curious if Tuchin was maybe coming down just the slightest bit. We'll get another look at it now as the field works into turn number 3. Watch up ahead. Flanagan is right in front of Joey Beck, who we're on board with. Look at Tuchin. He goes to the middle. And let's see, do these guys meet, or is it Flanagan moving up? It's Flanagan moving up onto the bumper of Justin Tuchin. He gets sideways. What a save. Holy cow. Jack Mace. He saw his race flash before his eyes right there. Good job by the 07 to keep it going. It's Flanagan into Tuchin. And that brings out the caution here. So we get ready to go to a second overtime.
That's again, like I was referring to, Freddie Bazinez with just the inexcusable mistakes that you cannot make late in this race. David Flanagan was in a transfer position. I mean, right now, as he scored 20th on the track, he's probably going to get that EOL as well, waiting for official call, but it seems way more obvious than it is. But I want to give a shout out to Ethan Delaire, who is in the top 10. Where has he been this whole entire race? Ethan Delaire is a new guy. Well, new guy to me. I've not seen his name before, even though I've only been doing this about a year. But Ethan Delaire is a new guy that I've noticed his name in the recruitment process towards the SummerSlam, the recruitment races. I believe he won a free entry as well in the latest recruitment race. So Ethan Delaire is looking to spoil the party. It almost seems like that the storybook is made for him.
I was just going to mention it. You made a good call on Delaire being one of those free entries. He was, and it was this week, which is the craziest part. He won one of the free entries either on Monday or on Tuesday. I can't remember off the top of my head. But now it's got to be surreal as the driver of that 99 machine to be sitting on board. You're about to restart with 2 laps to go. You just got through a big crash a couple moments ago, the big one in the tri-oval, and now you're just 2 laps away from potentially locking yourself into an event again that you may not have even planned on racing in this time last week. So for Ethan Delaire, a great story to continue to watch. He just kind of bided his time. He didn't do anything crazy. He saved his race car, and sometimes that's what it takes. And for Delaire now in prime position potentially to advance into the SummerSlam for 99. We'll keep an eye on that 99 running into the back half of the top 10. So we're going to have another overtime attempt here. It will be the second of 3 potential attempts that we will use. This one will be similar to the last one in terms of there will be a caution thrown. It will be completely normal no matter where the caution occurs on the racetrack. There will be a caution thrown. We'll go to a 3rd attempt. The 3rd attempt is where it gets interesting. We'll run it out no matter what in that 3rd attempt. So the 3rd attempt could be even more hairy than this second one will be when we get ready to line it back up. We'll re-rack the field for you as we get ready for overtime attempt number 2. Cade McClenny is your leader. Michael Guest is 2nd. Kyler Wynn 3rd. Jacob Wilkerson in the 4th spot. John Ward goes 5th. Colin Keister is 6th. Michael Triscaro is 7th. Jeff Merck is 8th. Kevin Champagne is 9th. The aforementioned Ethan Delaire rounding out the top 10. Rest of the guys in as of now, and again, this is extremely unofficial. They still have 2 laps under green to go. Jackson Anderson 11th. Justin Champagne 12th. Michael Wingo 13th. Caden Dietrich 14th. Jared Haynes 15th. Adam Tahan 16th, Jack May 17th, Jackson Buys 18th, Joey Beck 19th, and Evan Ambrose Kniebel has made his way to the transfer positions for the first time in this dual race in the 0-4. The captain for Blind Squirrel Racing looking to make it in. Guys that are notably out as of right now, still looking to make their way in. Matt Frady, Kirill Kananovich, Max Dinda, Matt Lee, Freddie Bassinis, Josh Jambroni, Josh McCullough, Chris Carter, Cal Harvey, Casey Sprinkle, Dalton Meelam, David Flanagan, Andre Chickham, and Kenny Reel. Those are the 36 cars on the lead lap. 4 cars are laps down. Justin Tutunchian in 37th. He has multiple laps down. The other 3 have called it an evening here in this dual race. Spencer Burns, 38th. Stephen Miles, 39th. And Cohen Thompson, 40th. Well, having 2 laps to go again. We'll reset. We'll try this one more time. You actually mentioned a good part of this that I haven't gotten to come back around to, and that's some of these fuel tanks up front. Guys are approaching their fuel limit for overtimes here. We could be getting into a bit of a strategy race if we get a 3rd attempt, or even potentially on this attempt.
Got guys like Casey Sprinkle. He's lined up all the way. Oh, Casey Sprinkle actually pit on that last caution, I guess he was running out of fuel, but we got Josh McCullough up there. We got guys like Joey Beck, who's still up there. You got guys like Michael Wingo, who was all by himself burning a lot of fuel. It's going to be madness. It's going to be like a Bowman Gray, but at Talladega, it's just going to be the madhouse. But I have faith that we can make it to the end on the 2nd attempt. But don't count out Michael Triscaro and Jeff Merck. They are lined up nose to tail from one another. If they can get up, they're going to surprise everybody at the front.
100%. I like that madhouse analogy because it's about to feel like it here at Talladega Superspeedway. Something has to give. 5.5 miles to go in dual race number 1. Overtime attempt number 2 is green. McClenny off to the races. Wilkerson again misses the punch on the restart. On the bottom, they'll be connected better. It's Guest, Wynn, and John Ward. Out back, the jockeying begins. Matt Frady, Max Dinda, Josh Jambroni all looking 3 wide around Ambrose Kniebel as the jockeying starts for the transfer spots. Off turn number 2, McClenny. Big side draft, big push from Wilkerson. He'll go to the lead down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch out back. Joey Beck and Jack Jackson Wise take Adam Tahan in the middle. Jack Mace working around the transfer positions as well. And as the field works into Talladega's turn number 3, they'll see the white flag when they come around.
Oh, Keister's going to take a move to the bottom. I imagine they are working with Michael Guest and Kyler Wynn. Oh, Kyler Wynn almost turns Michael Guest after Guest is trying to check up, but it's all Kay McClenny and Jacob Wilson are out front. We got Kevin Champagne, who has just joined us. Where did he come from? You got Ethan Delaire in the 99, fourth and on the outside line, and we got the other Champagne brother right behind him. We are on the white flag lap. I cannot wait to see the finish. Dawson, I'm going to let you call the rest.
1 lap to go in dual race number 1. The jockeying is out back around Casey Sprinkle for the transfer positions. Jack Mace, Casey Sprinkle starting to race around 21st and 22nd. Up front, Keister goes to the lead. Down the Alabama gang super stretch on the push from Michael Guest. Cade McClenny continues to lead. Car on the wall was Jackson Wise. Joey Beck through the middle. Diedrich through the middle around Justin Champagne. It's going to have to give here in turn 3. They're 3 wide everywhere as they rise the banking. One final time off turn number 4. Will Guest make a move for the dual win, and who gets in behind them? Through the final corner, here comes Kyler Wynn, jumps to the outside of Wilkerson. Crash! Jared Haynes! Several cars involved. They pile up in there the transfer spots. At the line, Guest wins duel 1 as the field flies apart. Who gets back to the line to make it into the feature tomorrow?
Jack Mace has made it! Jack Mace has made it! Jared Haynes just ever so close. He is the outside looking in. It almost seemed like he was outside looking in the entire race. But man, you got a feel for everybody. Casey Sprinkle had enough fuel to make it last. You had Ethan Delaire, one of the best underdog stories, and you got Michael Guest going for a complete sweep. He won his heat race, he won the dual race. Now he's going to go for $1,500 tomorrow evening.
First man looking for the 3-for-3 sweep will be Guest, and look at this drive by Jack Mace. And he was just taking spots where he could get him. He gets around Sprinkle, he gets around Kananovich, and this is where it starts to get interesting. Josh McCullough, Jared Haynes, Michael Wingo, Cal Harvey. This is about around that transfer spot. And let's see what gets, oh man, oh, it's Wingo. He gets turned from out back by Cal Harvey in the 77, and then it just piles into the wall. Big hit for Kenny Reel, who gets airborne in the 11, and Mace by a car length over Jared Haynes for the final spot in tomorrow afternoon's SummerSlam 499 feature. Holy cow. I mean, you could not have asked for a better race, I think, as a whole, but the ending, and now you start to look at who's in and who's out. Let me tell you, Evan, before we get to these results, there's some big names that are not going to be racing tomorrow. I can tell you that right now, just looking at timing and scoring. Let's go first to the results. Here are the 20 drivers who are in. We'll start with the top 10. Michael Guest wins dual race number 1 over Colin Keister by 4/100ths of a second. Kyler Wynn goes 3rd. Cade McClenny, good run for him in 4th. Jacob Wilkerson in the 5th spot. Kevin Champagne, big recovery for him. John Ward in the 7th spot. Ethan Delaire, what a story. He's in 8th. Caden Diedrich finishes in the 9th spot. And Justin Champagne goes 10th, the final man in the top 10. We'll continue on now through the guys that made it. We'll give you the guys that don't here in a second. In 11th, he finally got him one. Michael Triscaro will race in tomorrow afternoon's SummerSlam 499 with an 11th place finish. Joey Beck goes 12th. He had enough gas to make it work. Josh McCullough in the 05 goes 13th. Jackson Wise finishes 14th. And Jeff Merck goes in the 15th position. Dalton Meelan finishes 16th with Jackson Anderson in 17th. Adam Tahan in 18th. Casey Sprinkle in 19th also had enough gas. And Jack Mace finishes in the 20th position. Here are the guys that are not racing tomorrow. The guys eliminated as a part of that crash on the final lap. 21st, Jared Haynes. 22nd, Matt Lee. 23rd, Andre Leobov, the Polish driver. 24th, Matt Frady eliminated. 25th, Max Dinda. 26th, Kirill Kananovich. 27th, Matthew Taylor. 28th, Josh Jambroni. 29th, Freddie Bassines led a lot of the dual race. He is out by virtue of a 29th place finish. Running at the top 30, Chris Carter in the 25 machine. Ambrose Knievel goes 31st in this first dual race. Andre Chickham goes 32nd. Michael Wingo in 33rd. Kenny Reel in 34th. Calvin Harvey 35th. David Flanagan 36th. Justin Tutunchin in 37th. Spencer Burns in 38th. Stephen Miles 39th. And Cohen Thompson rounds out the finishing field in dual race number 1. Well, now what we're going to do, we're going to change things up from the heat races just a little bit with a moment of extra time here. We're going to try to get a few post-race interviews here from our dual race drivers with some extra time built in for duel number 2. We'll have an opportunity to talk to our top 3. And so as we get into it, we'll start first But the man who finished in third, led a lot of laps in this race. It's the Canadian driver, the former Podium 500 winner. It is Kyler Wynn in the 82 machine. We'll get a word with him first on his effort here in dual race number 1. Kyler, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, brother?
Well, boy, about as chaotic as you could have asked for here in dual race number 1. We saw crashes in the back. We saw crashes in the middle. We saw the biggest crash of the weekend up front. But you managed to escape the chaos. You lead a lot of laps, looked very comfortable out there. A third-place finish for you here in dual race number 1. Take me through it from what you saw on board that 82 here in dual race number 1.
Yeah, most laps led, which I'll take. I wanted to win it. Obviously, I want to win every race, but I'm glad a teammate got it. So we swept the top 3 as a team. Unfortunately, 2 of our teammates couldn't make it in, but we still got Colin and Mike and me up there, obviously. Good win, Mike. Congrats to him. But yeah, pretty good race. Green flag for the first 45 laps. Shame we couldn't go flag to flag there, but the goal was to win. We got there. The ultimate goal was to make it to the feature, though, and that's where we are now.
Let's start to turn our attention to tomorrow afternoon. You are one of the first drivers to advance into the SummerSlam 499. We kind of I talked about it with Dan a little bit last week. I've talked about it with a couple of drivers, Garrett Maines as well. This is kind of the one thing that I feel like you lack on your PGR resume is a feature victory, a crown jewel victory. You're now going to be starting towards the front of this SummerSlam 499. How are you going to get the job done? And again, capture that last crown jewel, that last thing on your resume that we're still looking for on what is a decorated super speedway career.
I don't know. I'm just going to wing it, to be honest. I don't really have a game plan or strategy going into these long races. Just kind of do what feels right in the moment. I probably just chill and hang out and don't get wrecked for the first, 3/4 of the race, because it doesn't really matter until like 30 to go. So yeah, if I'm there at the end, I have a good shot.
We're looking forward to it tomorrow afternoon in the SummerSlam 499. A third-place finish for you here in dual race number 1. You'll be starting towards the front of tomorrow afternoon's feature event. Before we let you go and start to prep for tomorrow, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, all the teammates this race. This car is significantly easier when you have teammates to work with. As I said, we swept the top 3 there, so that's ideal. You guys for broadcasting, great production. I loved watching the heats back, and I'm sure I'll love watching the duel back too. And Mike for putting this on. And shout out to Mike because he transferred to the feature, finished 11th. So congrats to him.
Congrats to you on the third-place finish, and thanks for talking to us here for just a moment. Again, congrats on the effort. Good luck tomorrow in the SummerSlam 499, and we'll be looking for that white and red 82. Perhaps we're talking to you at the end of the race tomorrow afternoon as well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Kyler Wynn, the 82, the third-place finisher. At this point, I do not see Colin Keister, our second-place finisher, yet in the chat waiting room, so we'll skip the 15 car for now, the second-place finisher. We'll move now to the winner of this first dual race. He's 2 for 2 on the weekend. It's one of the drivers for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series for Vegas Inferno. It's Michael Guest in the 39. He's your winner of dual race number 1. Michael, it's the boys in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, boy, a chaotic, to say the least, dual race number 1. Some of the best edge-of-your-seat racing we have seen all weekend long. You stayed up front for most of it, stayed ahead of the chaos that happened with a couple of different large incidents at the end of this race. You're now 2 for 2 on the weekend as well. You advance out of dual race number 1. You'll be starting on the pole position for tomorrow afternoon's SummerSlam 499. Take us through your afternoon in the dual race here at Talladega.
Yeah, good stuff there. I always enjoy when these qualifier races can go green. I said that last night. It's honestly pretty rare when they do. So definitely won't complain that we got a nice long run there for the middle part of the race. But yeah, everything just kind of worked out there. I had some people to work with Colin and Kyler, and the others that unfortunately got wrecked in the back. Sucks that they couldn't make it in, but glad that we were able to mostly stay up front for most of the race and take home $100 with this.
Well, we start to look forward now tomorrow. You'll be the man starting on pole position by virtue of the win here in dual race number 1. So as we look forward to that, I asked Kyler what his game plan is, and he said he didn't really have one. He would kind of just wing it. Do you feel the same way? Can you game plan in this Gen 6 race car at all, or is it all it's just circumstantial because of the runs, because of the moves, because of, how much of a lack of calm you have in this race car. Can you game plan? And if so, what's the plan for the 39 entry tomorrow?
Yeah, it's always tough. I mean, with any long race, but especially with a car like this, especially one that likes to spread out. So I'm not really sure what exactly I'll do, but hopefully just stay in the lead pack, not get wrecked. So keep it clean, and everything besides that will hopefully work out from there.
It's a win in dual race number 1 for you. So before we give you an opportunity here to go prep for tomorrow afternoon's SummerSlam 499 as you try to win that $1,500 in the championship belt, do want to give you an opportunity here in dual race victory lane. Is there anybody you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the guys that I was working with there, Colin, Kyler, Freddie. Unfortunately, not everybody made it through tonight, but like I said, I'm glad quite a few of us did, and we got plenty of us to work with tomorrow. Hopefully it goes well with Malik and some of the others in Duel too. Besides that, just, you guys for broadcasting, always a great broadcast, and, the PGR guys for throwing up these events, always a great time.
Duel 1 certainly was towards the top of races that I can remember calling. You get the win here in dual race number 1. Go enjoy it a little bit, but obviously start to prep, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon as you go for that $1,500 prize in the championship belt. Best of luck tomorrow in the SummerSlam 499, and congrats on the win here in dual race number 1.
Appreciate it.
Michael Guest, winner of dual race number 1. Boy, that could have had about everything you wanted out of a race here from Talladega Super Speedway, as I'm completely out of breath, and we still have another 60 laps to go in dual race number 2. Storylines everywhere, guys in, guys out, that you would have expected to go one way or the other. Such will be the case in dual race number 2. Also, it is Michael Guest getting the win in duel number 1. He's 2 for 2 on the weekend. Looks to make it 3 for 3 tomorrow afternoon in the SummerSlam 499. What we're going to do now is we are going to take a break and get away for just a moment. Real quick, do want to thank the sponsors of both the event and of dual race number 1. First off, title sponsors Blanchard's Towing and Recovery for their continued support of not only this event, but PGR eSports as a whole. Chris Blanchard, by the way, coming up here in dual race number 2 in that 9 machine, as well as Ryco Performance. Want to thank them for their support as well of this event, the SummerSlam 499. Tommy Gossett and folks over there have been so kind to bring on their support of this event also. And also want to thank our Duel 1 sponsor and wish another happy birthday to Don Merck on January 10th. You heard Jeff Merck talking about it when we got to talk to him. That was a really cool moment. And Jeff Merck, by the way, he's in as well with a 15th place finish. He gets in his sponsored dual race. That's a really cool moment as well with a 60 for NBG Motorsports. What we're going to do now is the same thing we did on Thursday night, the same thing we did last night. We're going to take a quick break, get away. We're going to get switched over for dual race number 2 as we prep to lock the final 20 spots in tomorrow afternoon's SummerSlam 499. We hope you'll stay with us. Coverage coming up in just a few minutes for dual race number 2. If you liked what you saw, we got a whole nother race to go. 60 more laps, 20 more spots in the SummerSlam 499. Michael Guest wins dual race number 1 in a chaotic, edge-of-your-seat thriller here at Talladega. After this, it'll be dual race number 2. We'll be right back for coverage of the second dual race. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
If Duel 1 was any indication of what we are about to see on track, we are in for a treat this evening as we wrap up day 3 of the third annual running of the PGR SummerSlam 499 with Duel Race number 2 for virtual Talladega Super Speedway. Welcome back into the PGR broadcast booth. Welcome you on board for Duel Race number 2. We want to thank our sponsors real quick on the way in. Blanchard's Towing and Recovery for their sponsorship of both this event, PGR eSports as a whole. Also want to thank the folks over at Ryco Performance for their participation in the SummerSlam 499 as well. Thank those folks for coming along for the ride. Also want to begin to thank our Duel 2 sponsor as well, Christopher Carter Racing, CCR as they'll be known by their logo. I want to thank Chris for his sponsorship of Duel Race number 2. They got him a spot in the Duel races. Unfortunately, Chris not able to race his way into tomorrow afternoon's race, but we do thank him for the sponsorship of this event. The venue the same, Talladega Super Speedway in virtual Lincoln, Alabama. The 2.66 mile oval will play host to this race and tomorrow afternoon's feature. 33-degree banking in the corners, 17 degrees in the tri-oval, and the notable feature of this racetrack, the start-finish line, 1,000 feet further down the front straightaway than it is at Daytona International Speedway, the sister track. You'll see it up there on your screen. It's helped multiple drivers win either a heat or a duel, as we saw Michael Guest rip away Colin Keister's victory in Duel Race number 1. Surely it will be the same here in Duel Race number 2. There is the field that will compete here in the second of 2 duel races. And again, you thought duel number 1 was stacked with all of the talent. That is not correct. Duel number 2, plenty of it to go around, as well as 20 spots remain in the third annual SummerSlam 499 tomorrow as we get ready to set the field. The warm-up session is on the track now. That is what we're going with here in the duel races. 60 laps is the duel format, 100% fuel on board these race cars. The most important part from last race, no fast repairs. We saw that affect drivers in Duel Race number 1. We'll see it again here in Duel Race number 2. 3 green-white checkered attempts. The grid was set by heat finishing positions. Of course, with this being Duel 2, that is heats 5 through 8. 2 of them you saw earlier this afternoon. They advanced to this second duel race. The top 20 from this race will race tomorrow afternoon. Everybody else is going home with a few exceptions. We'll get to the provisionals here later on in the program as we give you an idea of who will round out the field for this event. I want to welcome in my pair of broadcast partners here for Duel Race number 2. First is the co-host this afternoon, Matthew Baker, back from earlier. And Baker, Duel Race number 1. You just are speechless when we leave the racetrack after that one. Surely the drivers in Duel 2, I can't imagine that did much for their nerves here in this second race.
Yeah, it just showed you. I mean, even some of the best make mistakes. Freddie Baznes, one of the guys that, you know, you could probably pick to win the SummerSlam 499, goes and clears across the nose of Matt Lee, puts Matt Lee out of contention. He finishes 2 spots out, and it puts Freddie Baznes out as well. So that's a big hit to the teammate of Kyler Wynn, Nick Seipel, and he lost Stephen Miles as well. Matt Brady, big names. Jared Haynes that missed out on it. Josh Gimbroni, another one. He was having a great run this weekend and just came up short. And then, you know, the unpredictability of some cars just not checking up in time, ARCA braking, and killing some people. It just it's unfortunate for sure, but it was a great race. 43 laps, I think, green flag. So I can't wait for this second race. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We'll welcome in now my third broadcast partner here for this afternoon's event. You heard from him earlier as well. It's series owner Michael Triscaro. Mike, fresh off racing into tomorrow afternoon's SummerSlam 499. I got to imagine you're on cloud 9 as we get ready to race here in Duel number 2.
Without a doubt, man. 2 years in a row. Kind of dramatic both years. I know last year, man, that was crazy. The last lap last year, but I put myself behind the 8 ball yesterday in the heats and as well as today. But like I said, my mental side has got me going on the golf game, and now it's got me going on iRacing as well. So learning some mental fortitude here, and it's definitely paying off here on the sim. But you know, I'm really looking forward to this duel here, and we have 4 winners from the heats that are in this duel: Nick Seipel, Landon Velicky, Daniel Falkingham, and Nathan Harper. And I really think, I mean, as cliched as it is, I believe we're going to get a winner out of that group right there. Daniel Falkingham, the 2025 PGR 500 champion. You'll probably see him in victory lane later today. But I'll tell you what, Michael Guest, man, he's got a couple wins already in the event. He could be the favorite as well heading into tomorrow.
As the warm-up completes, you see the payouts on your screen, $1,500 and a championship belt to the winner, and the payouts scale down from there all the way to 30th. The duel winner this afternoon which is Michael Guest in Duel 1, receives $100. So one more person going away $100 richer before you even turn a lap in tomorrow afternoon's SummerSlam 499. But ultimately, the field, they're looking for that belt and the $1,500 and all the glory that comes with being a SummerSlam 499 champion. We're going to head down trackside, a bit of a quick turnaround here for dual race number 2 as we get ready to get on the grid and put the final 20 drivers into the SummerSlam 499. Let's get it started with the starting grid for dual race number 2, sponsored by Chris Carter Racing. On the pole for dual race number 2, by virtue of his win in heat race number 5, it's going to be Nick Seipel into the 75 machine. Of course, one of the teammates of Kyler Wynn and Freddie Bassness and company. As Mike noted a moment ago, he will go from position number 1, but can't imagine the nerve's going to be doing well for the 75 after he watched a couple of his teammates get eliminated. On the outside of him, it's our Heat 6 winner, Landon Velicki for the Jack Shack in the 62, carrying the banner for the broadcasters as well, who go from second. Row 2, it'll be the PGR 500 winner, Daniel Falkingham, that goes from position 3, our Heat 7 winner. And alongside him, it's Nathan Harper for NBG Motorsports in the 4th spot in the Dallas Cowboys Ford Mustang. Row 3, another Jack Shack entry. It's the 11 of Dylan Basin, and alongside him, it will be Andrew Navarro returning to PGR competition, looking to make the SummerSlam 499 tomorrow in his return. Row 4, going to be Miles Bagley in the 87 machine. He's had a great run this weekend, looking to continue it into the SummerSlam 499. Alongside him, it will be Axel Smith in the 22, rolling off for position number 8. And rounding out the top 10, it'll be Evan Karlbahn for the Jack Shack. You just heard his voice in Duel 1. He'll try to lock in as well. They watched 3 of their team cars get eliminated in Duel 1. And it's Adam Garza that will roll from position number 10.
In 11th, we've got Hunter East, had a great run today. Really looked great on track. Matthew Zwack led a bunch of laps in his heat race as well. He'll be rolling off in that 12th starting spot. 13th, you've got Alex Hill, or Sean Hill, as it's shown on your screen. He had a great run as well. One of the best money racers out there. One of the most dominant PGR drivers we've ever had. And Joey Catania in the Sim 500, number 14. 15th starting spot, we got Richard Elliott in the 02 Ford Mustang, and in the number 3, Matthew Patton with the Rush Truck Centers. 17th, you've got Gordon Spain. Another great heat race run for Gordon Spain. Look for him to try and get up front early. Nathan Rossiso for PGR eSports. And rounding out your top 20, Garrett Caswell with a great run in his heat race. And Chris Blanchard, one of the leading sponsors for this event, a premier sponsor. If he doesn't make it through the duel, he will advance to the feature via a provisional.
21st on the starting grid will be Andrew Zanto in the Engine 42 Chevrolet. 22nd will be Michael A. Anthony. Starting 23rd for the Jack Shack, it's the number 1 of Joe Horta. And to his outside, it'll be the number 27, Yaroslav Donsko. And starting 25th here tonight will be the number 45, Sean Corbett. To his outside, the 2699 machine of Sean Rowe. Starting 18th, the Snickers M&M's number 18, Wyatt Gray. And to his outside, it's Team PGR's Brian Hennings. Rounding out the top 30, it's going to be in 29th. It's going to be the defending champion of the event, the number 1, Malik Ray, and to his outside, the number 48 of Cameron Craighead.
Last 10 drivers here in dual race number 2, actually going to be 42 total. It's going to be Mauricio Marquez Ramos rolling from 31st on the inside of row 16. To his outside, it's Jason Wallet, the former College Series driver. On row 17, it's Mike George in the 29, and alongside him, Mark Person had a great run in his heat race, got into the event. The 77, he'll go from 34th. Row 18, going to be Zach Range in the 043 in his PGR return. And how about the run for Brandon Broadfoot, who'll roll from 36th. Row 19, going to be Jesse Baker in the newly rebranded Home Depot colors today. In 37th, it's Justin Branham in 38th position on the outside of row 19. Row 20, Justin Melikar got one of the final transfer positions into this dual race today, along with Jesse Calloway, who will start in 40th. And a pair of cars on the final row. As virtue of the call on Wyatt Gray earlier, Rocky Boyd has made his way into dual race number 2. And quite possibly one of the storylines of the dual race, Trevor Osranoff for the Jack Shack will start position number 42 by virtue of Chris Carter's dual race provisional. So here we go. We're getting ready to get under the green flag. Weather conditions on your screen, a little bit cooler track, 82 degree outside temperature, 116 degree track temp, partly cloudy onto the racetrack, 44% humidity, a bit more of a forecasted look. So less problems with temps, less problems with tires for these guys up towards the front of the field. 60 laps in the Gen 6 car, no fast repairs, no do-overs, 100% fuel, 3 green-white checkers should we need them, and the top 20 are getting in. Quickly before we go green, the provisional process. Malik Ray has a provisional into tomorrow afternoon's feature should he not race in by virtue of being a defending champion. The other provisionals involved in this are, of course, the 2 sponsor provisionals. So the Blanchard's provisional, if Chris Blanchard makes the field, it will go to John Ellis Jr. If not, Blanchard will receive that provisional. The other one will be a bit more of an interesting situation. We'll explain that one later on in the night as we go through dual race number 2. 20 spots decided, 20 more will be decided by the on-track finishes in this one. Dual race number 2, green flag in the air. We're racing again from Talladega. And boy, as the field works up the banking, Adam Garza took an early look to the outside of Axel Smith in that 8 machine. You wonder if these guys would calm down a little bit. Carl Bond getting shoved out back a little bit by Hunter East on the bottom. But as the field works down towards turn number 3 and down the back straightaway for the first time, the jockeying is out back around Malik Ray. That's one of the first cars I saw get out of line. 4 wide already, 10 rows deep in the field.
Yeah, Alex Hill pulls it up the hill. They're back down to 3 wide racing. But, you know, Malik doesn't have anything to lose here. He's just going to go out and search for $100. He knows he's guaranteed with the champion's provisional. Watch for him to start making moves early. And 1 in the wall on the outside, and this is the 99 car. But they gather it back up, right up front, and look out the field. Back just a little bit. That's a nice looking paint scheme with a 5 paint scheme. Trevor Osranoff looking to the inside.
Here comes Landon Velicky of the Jack Shack here in the front.
Trouble, Mike. Sorry to cut you off. There's trouble halfway back in the field. Gordon Spain is turned around sideways, and we got crashing in turn number 1 early here in dual race number 2. As Gordon Spain, I saw get around the 38 machine. A couple more, I think, got into this one as well. Chris Blanchard actually may be one of the cars involved in this one, also in the 9 machine. So trouble early for guys mid-pack. And the first caution flag flies really early here, lap 2 in dual race number 2. Let's take a look at it. And they were 4 wide back here. Oh man, Gordon Spain in the left rear of Chris Blanchard, and Spain was not able to hold on. Hennings into the side of him. He's got big damage. So too does Andrew Zanto. A few big hitting names that we mentioned on the grid, just not even 5.5 miles into this dual race behind the 8 ball. Spain into Blanchard, and it's on from there in turn 1. Potentially, to me, guys, early jitters from the drivers on the racetrack.
Yeah, it looks like Spain just comes up the racetrack into Blanchard. Unfortunate, but
Not sure what happened there with my broadcast partner, Matthew Baker, but nonetheless, you saw it happen around Gordon Spain. You're on board now with the Engine 42 Chevy of Andrew Zanto. And unfortunately, the road gets clogged for him there in turn 1. He gets out of line, gets sideways. Brian Hennings has big damage in this as well. That's a tough break for the 74 for Team PGR, as he's got potentially critical front-end damage on his race car. And just 5.5 miles in, already 3 to 4 race cars that have some pretty serious implications on the back of them. We, again, are just 3 laps here into dual race number 1. And as we get kind of recycled back to the front, I mean, these guys up front, they know it happened, but nothing really able to develop. Oh boy, a bit of a deke on pit road from up front from Landon Velicky. Several guys out back going to do it too. I don't know who the guys about 12th on back think they are going to fake out with that move, but Velicky started to dive to pit road a little bit early. A little early still to be within the pit window. In fact, very early to be within the pit window, but a couple guys trying to fake, trying to get maybe some guys behind them out of track position here early in this one.
yeah, just like you said, it's the big race jitters. I know it's not technically the big race that everyone's looking for, but he's doing a great job. up front. I think Veliky is going to want to try and lead every single lap here, to be honest, as Spain is going to get the EOL here.
So Gordon Spain receiving the penalty there for the contact on Chris Blanchard that started that incident. As we now look back forward at cars coming off of pit road, some guys do decide to come down and get pit service here under the first caution and towards the back of the field. Really no downside to coming to pit road here early in the race and topping off on fuel and potentially getting maybe a set of tires as well. Again, unlimited tires for these guys, so no harm in coming down and throwing 4 new tires on it, kind of getting yourself reset as we get ready to race start. Some cars down there doing damage repair as well after that incident over in turn 1. Blanchard, Santo, Hennings, Spain. The other car on pit road is Yaroslav Donskoy, as he is going to be close to going a lap down. He sits on pit road as well. So early stoppage to this dual race. We saw the first one go a majority of the race before a caution flag came out with 15 laps to go. This one will slow up here in the early stages of the race with still 57 laps to go in the race. Let's re-rack the field for you. Landon Veliky leads the way. Nathan Harper second, Nick Seipel third, Axel Smith fourth, and Daniel Falkingham in fifth. Adam Garza 6th, Dylan Basin 7th, Miles Bagley 8th, Matthew Zwack 9th, and Evan Carlbon rounds out the top 10. With as few laps as we ran, not a ton of opportunities to move, but there are some guys up a ton of positions. Plus 17 for Justin Melikar to 22nd, plus 18 for Trevor Osborne, now plus 17 actually to 25th, plus 17 for Rocky Boyd, plus 12 for Zach Range, plus 10 for Malik Ray. So a lot of the guys that started at the back of the field benefit off that caution. They're just outside the transfer positions. The guy's still a long way to go. An early caution, I talked about it as well in the PGR 500 back in February. You know, it feels like the pace laps are really long. The preparation feels like it's eternal, and you're so nervous. But once you get about 5 laps in is when I think the nerves start to go away. Do the drivers still have a little bit of jitters here? We didn't run a lot of time. Does it almost feel like we're restarting the race as a whole here?
Well, you know, I'd say half the field's already got a race under their belt, but, you know, some other people being cautious. It took a little time off yesterday, and I just think that, you know, they're trying to get up front, trying to get control of this race because they saw the green flag run that the first duel had, and track position mattered. You couldn't lollygag in the back, you were going to lose the pack, but I think we're going to rack them up, stack them up. You're going to see 3 really good cars out front, and Landon Veliky, Nathan Harper, and Nick Seipel try and control this race. And I mean, you got Garza, Falkingham there as well.
Just got the message from you guys. I'll be heading back to RC Tower here in a second. Just to update you, Gordon Spain did get the EOL there. Gordon Spain, and correction on the tire count, Dawson. It's gonna be two tires sets here for the duel. We'll have 7 tomorrow. So tires are a factor. Just in my race alone, I remember pitting with the right rear about 82. So these guys are definitely having some tire issues late in these runs when you're getting a restart. So tires a little bit more of a deal here than normally that we see. But good luck the rest of the way here, guys, in the booth. Hopefully can get some green flag racing in.
Good luck to you the rest of the way as well, Mike, as you head up to the race control tower to see things from the sky. We're going to file that one under broadcaster errors and omissions on my part in the sets of tires, so maybe you didn't take a set of Goodyears right there, but a chance to top off on fuel, get some damage repaired for the guys involved in the caution, and potentially also just a mental reset. You come down, come to the service of your crew, come back out, and kind of reset yourself to get into a green flag run. Landon Veliky leads the field ahead of Nathan Harper, Nick Seipel, Axel Smith, and Daniel Falkingham will be the top 5. These guys will look to get into a bit of a green flag run under this duel number 2. We saw duel 1 go 45 laps under green and get a pit stop. These guys hoping that happens once again. Veliky, Harper on the front row. They will bring the field slowly into the restart zone for the second time. Green flag will go back in the air. And away we go towards turn number 1. Landon Veliky on the gas. Axel Smith not quite getting the memo, neither did Adam Garza. Bottom will be much more connected, but not for long. Falkingham bails, goes third on the top behind Axel Smith. All of a sudden the tables turn, but not before Nathan Harper will nose out front in the banking of turns 1 and 2.
Big push on the outside from the 22 car. You got Falkingham lined up as well. Veliky in that beautiful, beautiful paint scheme by Landon Tilley. One of my favorite paint schemes that Landon's ever really ran, minus his Xfinity car. That silver and gold is just absolutely gorgeous, leading that top lane.
Yeah, great looking paint for him. A lot of guys going with new paint schemes here for this weekend's event. Several of them running up here inside the top 5 or 10 cars on the racetrack. Bottom lane gets a big push. Out back, Matt Patton tried to split. So did Alex Hill in the 48 machine. They both get back in line. And Nathan Harper is going to use the tandem to his advantage to go to the lead on the push from Nick Seipel. Dylan Basin will follow through. Matthew Zwack will follow through. Ooh, boy, a bit of a crunch up there in the top lane of checkup. It's going to force Falkingham to go to the middle. He'll have Adam Garza with him. They will go middle of 3 wide. Cars coming to their aid. Matt Patton third in line. Rossesville fourth. Huerta gets hit from out back. That was Zach Range. They get it all back together back around Malik Ray. In the one machine, he'll bail to the middle now. So will Joe Huerta. Up front, it's Harper Seipel, but here comes the challenge on the bottom. It's Basin and Matthew Zwack, the second place finisher back in February.
Yeah, Joe Huerta with a nice save. I'm pulling for him his paint scheme that he ran, if you saw it in the paint chat. Oh, Basin barely across the nose of Falkingham. Back to what I was saying about the paint scheme. He's donating all of his proceeds, anything that he makes on this race, he's going to donate to breast cancer research. So if I'm any car that's around him, I'm trying to push him to the most money. And he also posted the link as well in the Discord.
A really great cause for Joe Huerta this weekend. I mentioned it in his heat race as well, and a really sharp-looking paint scheme aboard that car also. Up front, another challenge. Here comes Dylan Basin, but he's got a different dancing partner this time. It's the PGR 500 winner and defending PGR Series champ. It's Daniel Falkingham that comes to his aid. They'll have Adam Garza on the bottom, topside Harper, along with Seipel, Felicki, Smith, and now the newcomer to the front. Welcome to the lead pack, Alex Hill in that Gatorade Zero Chevrolet. He'll go top to bottom in front of Matthew Zwack. The back bumper of Adam Garza, and out back they scrambled for a moment 3 wide. Through the middle, here comes that green car. That's Trevor Osbornoff.
Trevor Osbornoff's back 3 wide. One car pulls on a line right in front of him. That is Rocky. Those are the 2 cars that started in the back of the field trying to make a way up. Like you stated, defending winner for the 500, also the defending he's looking for the trifecta here.
Well, off turn number 2, it will be Falkingham on Garza that goes to lead after Basin took its slide for a minute from the 39. They all get it back together. It was a quick clear from Daniel Falkingham. Garza leads the bottom. How about a trip to the front for the Goodwrench Chevy of Adam Garza? As out back they continue to scramble. Guess who? It's Trevor Osbornoff in that 89. Malik Ray making his way forward as well. He's about to burst into the top 10 for the first time as Falkingham goes to the lead off of the bumper of Dylan Basin. Out back 4 wide, 2 rows deep. Joe Huerta, Sean Corbett's in the middle of that. I think a couple other cars that are involved in the middle of that. They'll get it sorted back out to 3 wide through the trial. But a big moment there as Garza lost all of his help. The outside side drafts them big time. Falkingham back to the lead. Malik Ray in the middle. Nobody wanting to go with him. Still no help coming from Malik Ray. Matt Patton might have no choice. And Malik Ray went to the middle, and it is lonesome for the 1 car. Nobody coming to his aid back to Joey Gattina, 10 rows deep.
Yeah, Joey Gattina going to get to the back. We're going to stack this middle line, but they get it sorted out. Joe Huerta going to go to the outside, top of 4. Following through there and saving it. You just see the middle. It's a means to the end unless you get a bunch of cars here. Let's see Gattina going to try and go. Gray now is cleared to the bottom.
Falkingham continues to lead over Basin on the outside. It's Garza and now Alex Hill, one of the most aggressive pushers in the field on the inside in that 48. And it's going to send the 8 right to the point. Alex Hill tandems on the back of Adam Garza's machine and send him all the way to the lead. He'll go on the bumper of Falkingham now. On the inside, it's Hill, pushed by Zwack, pushed by Trevor Osbornoff. He started 42nd in this dual race. He's up inside the top 7 as the field works down the Alabama Gang super stretch. Alex Hill continues to lead the bottom, some scrambling out back around Matt Patton. It works out somehow, and into 3, that bottom has to try to rebound. Down to the middle comes Nathan Harper. Basin, Falkingham, Garza, a little late to the party, but they will get down now on the exit of 4. Continues to be Hill and Garza working the inside lane, and they got a bit of a run there off 4 as Malik Ray tries to work the middle. He's got some headway now with Garrett Caswell and company.
And a great onboard shot there, and a beautiful paint scheme of Trevor Osbornoff.
Oh! Garza! Adam Garza around into the inside wall, goes to Goodwrench Chevy off the bumper of Alex Hill, I believe. It may have been off the bumper of Falkingham up front. The front cars cycled just a little bit. Matthew Zwack got stuck in the middle. Hill and Osbornoff lost a ton of time. We'll look at the replay now as they work through the trial. I believe it's going to be Falkingham that gets into the back of the 8 of Adam Garza here on the exit of the trial and sends him for a slide into the inside retaining wall. Let's get a look at it here right as they cross the start-finish line. Oh, actually, no. It was a move across Alex Hill's nose. As Kyle's looking back in the field. He drives right across the nose of the 48, and that's all she wrote for Adam Garza. He will now need some help in the form of a caution. Back up front, that benefited a few cars that run towards the front of the field. Nick Seipel will go to the lead in the 75, a heat winner from a couple of days ago, or from last night, excuse me. And it's the 48 of Alex Hill on his push. On the outside, Falkingham, Basin, Harper, Osronaut Veliky work back 4 rows deep. And all of a sudden, here comes that yellow, white, and black number 1. That's the defending winner of this race. It's Malik Ray.
Everyone shuffles to the top side. Once you see the one start to roll around here, he is going to go for it and go for broke. But unfortunate for Adam Garza there, into the inside wall with no fast repair. It's going to be tough to get that repaired off if this thing stays green. But man, Nick Seipel, if I've talked about one driver that has grown over this past year, it's been him. He's had some big wins. Can he cap it off by getting the dual win, locking himself into the slam, and then getting the win for the slam?
He's going to try to be denied here by drivers like Daniel Falkingham, Dylan Basin, of course, a long-tenured sim racing driver as well. Malik Ray cuts top to middle on Landon Veliky. Ray hangs Veliky out to the help of Wyatt Gray, as all of a sudden now it's going to be 8-9 rows of 3 wide here towards the front of the field. Falkingham will get the lead from Basin on the push from Harper. Those two are teammates here at the front for NBG. On the outside, Veliky with Gray. They're trying to get connected. Hill jumps up to the middle. Bottom now just Basin and Seipel as Osronaut and Zwack try to get back into the party. Hill says, I want one more. Trouble out back. Matthew Patton, Nathan Rostasil crash into the entrance of turn number 3. They crash again. Patton, Hunter East, Andrew Santo. More cars pile into the wreck as they crash big in turn number 3.
And Patton's still out of shape under that caution. Huge hit to the outside wall.
Nathan Rostasil, huge damage for the 06. Jason Wallet coming to a stop. Looks like he's got damage on board the 76 machine. We'll go back and start to take a look at what happened in turn number 3. This is another one towards the tail end of the field. Zanto, Patton, Hunter East had started to make this work up on the outside. Oh man, Mike George drives right into the left side of Matthew Patton, and it is on from there. And then Patton trying to save the car, collects East and Zanto in the secondary incident. They collects 3 more race cars. This could have been, and probably should have been, a lot bigger than it was. You're on board now with Matt Patton. Watch ahead of these guys, or what's going to be ahead of these guys. And Mike George comes right up the racetrack and door slams the 3 of Patton. And Rostasil's in it. There's a couple more cars out back that are in it. I think Richard Elliott might be one of those cars in the 02. Hunter East, of course, big damage on him. Those guys had it missed. Unfortunately, Patton just couldn't keep his car underneath them in the secondary. Man, this is several good cars that are involved in this one too. Just 15 laps into dual race number 2. You're on board now with Hunter East. You're going to see this start kind of around this 24 machine. Watch Mike George right in front of him. Let's see where the 29 is going to try to go here. Going into turn number 3. What in the world? That is an odd look from the 29. It just hooks a right down the back straightaway. Not even
it's
to
like
the
he didn't know it. He may have thought he was clear.
I mean, the cars are lined up 5 deep behind him. Either a miscommunication, a misjudgment, obviously some kind of mistake on the 29 of Mike George, and it costs some guys big damage. I mean, Rostasil, East, Santo, and Patton are all killed. I mean, their cars have severe body damage to them. We'll have to see the suspension damage status as well. And now we've had 2 incidents that have led to critical damage here in the early stages of this one. I want to give you an update on the race control call on that one. It will go on Mike George for the second caution of the afternoon. So Mike George receives the EOL as several cars come crashing into turn number 3. With no fast repair, Hunter East, Nathan Rostasil, Andrew Santo, Matt Patton, your job just got infinitely harder. A couple of those cars, I'm not even sure if they're going to be able to continue.
I mean, of the one that benefits from that, it's Adam Garza. He's going to come down, try and get his damage repaired after self-clearing himself off the front bumper of Alex Hill. But Andrew Navarro, what a massive save from him. He had got up into Patton after everyone went down to the apron. He was sideways Tokyo drifting it around turn 3.
We head back to live action now. Andrew Navarro with a big save in that incident. We talked about his return to PGR competition this weekend in the SummerSlam 499 and kept his hopes alive right there through that incident in that black and red Ford Mustang. As we get ready to rack them back up, it will still be 43 to go here in dual race number 2. And that is a long way. We're still outside the pit window as well. Remember, we didn't see pit stops in Duel 1 until just after the halfway point at lap 30, which is when that window will open. So curious to see when that happens now. Got to imagine that guys now can stretch that a little bit further. So maybe a late race pit stop, maybe a little more on the line in terms of how much fuel you pack in that car or how much fuel you decide to not pack in that car as to where you finish in this afternoon's second dual race. Daniel Falkingham leading the way still. Nathan Harper continues to run second. Nick Seipel third. Alex Hill fourth. And Dylan Basin in fifth. Rest of the top 10, Landon Velicki is sixth. Wyatt Gray is seventh after starting deep in the field in this dual race. Axel Smith is eighth. Matthew Zwack is ninth. Malik Ray rounding out the top 10. Biggest mover from 42nd to 11th for the 89 of Trevor Osmond. That is an eye-popping plus 31 on the timing charts so far for the driver that started shotgun on the field today. Well, now 43 laps to go. You kind of cut this race in 2/3. And instead of a 60-lap race, now the guys towards the tail end, it's a 40-lap race. And that may change the mentality. It also, more importantly to me, Baker, changes the way you handle this green flag pit stop that we still have in play.
Absolutely. It really puts forward the effort from these guys to think about the field strategy here. Teammates going to have to link up. People who usually don't run together are going to have to try and link up here. Landon Velicki and Alex Hill used to be teammates on on Nightmare, and now are going to have to work together here to try and get to this green flag stop. Keep up there with Dylan Basin, Nick Seipel, Daniel Falkingham, and Nathan Harper. Great showing from the Money Racing regulars.
I look forward to those pit stops again, still in play as of right now, as we get ready to go back green on lap 18. If we get a caution around the halfway mark, a little past the halfway mark, that pit stop will go out the window, and we will just run it out under the green flag with no more pit stops in place. So we'll keep that in mind. We are still 14 laps from the halfway point. Even then, in duel number 1, they waited a few laps after that to pit. So the window is moving as we go here in this race. We'll see where it ends up over the next 15 or so laps. Daniel Falkingham, Nathan Harper, a pair of teammates on NBG Motorsports up front. We'll get this one restarted with 43 laps to go in dual race number 2. We've had a couple of incidents now involving several different cars that are now behind the 8 ball or out. Quickly before we go back green, one car called it a night. That was Hunter East in the 24. His night in the SummerSlam 499 duel is over as of lap 14. Patton and Rostasil and Zanto continue to sit on pit road receiving repairs. Falkingham brings the field back into the restart zone. Green flag will go back in the air. Away we go once again in dual race number 2. It's a great start on the bottom for Falkingham. Harper and Hill connected, but about a car length behind Daniel Falkingham, and that appears to be by design. Falkingham to the nose of Harper. Seipel on the bottom with Basin until Basin dives out of line. Seipel waiting on Wyatt Gray out back of him in the Snickers Toyota Camry.
And Malik Gray took a look, top of 3 wide. Doesn't surprise me, still looking top of 3 wide, protecting that right rear. They're going to go up to the wall, sucker hold for one car all the way towards the middle portion of the track. Falkingham leading into turn 3, getting pushed by his teammate Nathan Harper.
That's Cameron Craighead that goes backwards in the 11 machine. He'll slot in 6th on the inside lane for now. Falkingham, Harper continue to lead, but here comes the bottom. Seipel with Wyatt Gray, and they are moving really quick here off turn 4. They tandem together. Seipel briefly went to the lead. Falkingham gets a bit of an offset push. As out back, Malik Gray is making moves. The one car to the outside of Axel Smith. He'll bring Joey Gattina with him. It's been a pretty good soldier for that one car so far in this race. And now Malik Ray lines up behind Landon Velicki, who will likely protect, but Malik Ray says, I don't care. I'm going to go to the middle and split around the Jack Shack entry of Velicki, who jumps in line in front of Gattina. Out back of them, Andrew Navarro starting to arrive on the scene and join the party, followed by Brian Hennings. So I wondered how bad the damage was on Hennings' car. Does not appear to have been fatal. The PGR VRX entry is back inside the top 15 as he rolls on the outside. Here comes the bottom. Gray splits to the middle. It allows Seipel and Zwack to now lead the bottom as Gray goes all the way backwards in that middle lane.
He's back in the sucker hole yet again. It's very, very apparent in this car. You get hung out in the middle, you are going backwards in a hurry. That gives the advantage to the top lane as the bottom lane gets side drafted back by the middle lane. But here comes Matthew Zwack. Here comes Trevor Dawson. He is in line on the bottom. What a drive. He's trying to make a statement.
Holy cow, Alex Hill. I thought he was going to hesitate for a moment too long. Basin around the outside of Harper as Hill went to the bottom on the bumper of Seipel. Falkingham's forced to now block as Alex Hill goes to the point of dual race number 2. Falkingham forced to block the run by Basin, but here comes Malik Ray and splits Basin right to the middle. Basin will go back to Nathan Harper in the middle lane as Malik Ray now leads the top side. Falkingham in no man's land, waiting on the 11 or the 1 to get to him. Up front, tandeming away are Alex Hill and Nick Seipel. Zwack now leads the inside with Osranoff. Scratch that. Now it's Osranoff as Zwack jumps up top, and Garrett Caswell pushes through for the first time. He'll be the lead pusher on Osranoff. Oh, man, but a bit of a shuffle back there around that 89 and 88. Their momentum will be halted for just a moment here in turn number 1 as we work back up the banking. Zwack to the inside of Seipel. He wants second. He wants to lead. Zwack trying to go to the lead as Falkingham goes right through the back bumper of Seipel, who goes to the back bumper of Alex Hill, and that top lane gets a massive run onto the Alabama Gang super stretch. Here comes Basin again. Now he's on the bumper of his teammate Trevor Osranoff. Zwack in the middle, pushed by Harper and Navarro and Gray. Malik Ray takes a look down to side trap, maybe even go 3 wide or 4 wide as Alex Hill continues to lead the field in turn number 4. Hill off the banking of turn 4. Here comes Zwack on the bottom. He's got a push from out back from Nathan Harper. They start to split. They start to look 4 wide. Landon Veliky grabs Katina's right rear. We're 4 wide for the first time. Joe Huerta's going to go with him. The Jack Shack cars look 4 wide outside of the top 10. They're trying to get something going, but nobody went with them. They're going to have to hope somebody does here on the banking of turns 1 and 2 as they go backwards. Hill and Falkingham now 1, 2, 3 wide for third. Navarro leading the middle. Zwack on the bottom. Seipel on the top side. Oh, contact back there around Huerta. They managed to keep it straight. Now they have a line to draft up to. Do those 2 Jack Shack cars that were 4 wide, and we get it settled back out to 3. Back into the banking of turn number 3. Hill continuing to lead. Falkingham on his back bumper with Seipel and Ray. On the bottom, it's Zwack, Harper, Basin, and Osranoff 4 deep on the inside. Big blink from Rocky Boyd in that 16. He's come forward from 41st to the outside. Seipel and Ray, the teammates. Alex Hill will throw the block. In the trial, they'll go to the middle. Hill tried to block. He makes the save. Incredible save by Alex Hill. 4 wide, 3 rows deep in the field. The Jack Shack car's looking to split. It was actually Rocky Boyd. They got hung out 4 wide. This is going to be big. Huerta into the wall. Smith into him. They managed to keep it straight. You got to check for damage on Joe Huerta's car. Looks like he might have just tapped the outside wall and been okay. Back up front, Nick Seipel now gets to the lead on the bumper of his teammate Malik Ray. Remember, all of those cars are teammates. We talked about earlier with Kyler Wynn as well. But a couple of them got eliminated in Duel 1. Malik Ray and Nick Seipel trying to make sure that doesn't happen here in Duel race number 2. They go 2 by 2 once again for the lead. Seipel on the outside, Zwack on the inside with Harper and Ray in tow respectively. Navarro, Gray, Hennings now into the lead. Here comes Craighead. Craighead, Alex Hill, Wyatt Gray jumps out. Navarro jumps out, and all of a sudden it's right back to 3 wide. Seipel and Ray throw the block. Where does Navarro go when he gets there? Into the back bumper of the PGR eSports sponsored number 1 machine. Ray says, I'm going to turn left. He goes to the bumper of Daniel Falkingham. Malik Ray to the point, the defending winner of the SummerSlam 499 is back out front at Duel race number 2. He throws the block on his teammate. Seipel gets turned. Nick Seipel goes sideways. He saves it. Car in the inside wall. Matthew Zwack. Big damage on the 18. Wheel damage for one of the favorites to make the event as he will come back up the racetrack. His car immobilized. A meatball for Matthew Zwack on lap 24. And he's against the wall. He's got to hope he can get this thing back to pit road. You got to imagine race control is looking. He's going to go right to the pit lane. Is one of the favorites to make it to Sunday. Matthew Zwack gets turned in the exchange up front. Zwack was pushing Falkingham as they worked off turn number 2, and it was around that top lane where this starts with Nick Seipel as he gets turned out of line by Andrew Navarro trying to throw a block, and right there, nowhere to go for Matthew Zwack as he gets turned and crushes the inside wall with that left front tire. No fast repair. It likely means his day and his chances are over in the 18. One more look. It was Navarro on the back of Seipel. Got him out of shape. Got Seipel sideways. I have no idea how Nick Seipel saved this race car and stayed in the draft, but he did. But for Matthew Zwack, a tragic end to his chances in the SummerSlam 499. Off turn number 4. It continues to be Navarro leading the top now with Malik Ray on the inside. Gray and Falkingham are the pushers. Adam Garza's made his way back to the front after his spin earlier in the race. And third on the inside now, Veliky, a pair of Jack Shack teammates. 4 of the Jack Shack entries are inside the top 10, those being Veliky, Osranoff, Hill, and Basin. The cars They're basically lined up nose to tail on the outside and the inside, respectively. Zach Range is up here as well. So too is Jesse Calloway. So too is Garrett Caswell. So a number of potential underdog picks are up here. But here comes to the outside the run from Axel Smith. He'll have help from the Jack Shack cars. That's Hill, Basin, and now Joe Huerta. Miles Bagley jumps in that as well. As Ray goes to the middle on the nose of Andrew Navarro, we're right back to it. 35 to go. We're back to 3 wide. Oh, this is a monster run from Alex Hill on the outside. Malik Ray going to throw the block. It was clean. They lift for him on the outside lane. That allows Falkingham to go to the lead. Velicki tried to turn right, and Falkingham said no, sir. He blocks right across the nose of that 62. That allows Malik Ray to get to the middle lane on the nose of Navarro and now lead that. He'll now lead the bottom on the bumper of Trevor Osronaut. It's rush hour traffic at 200 miles an hour in turn 1. 3 wide for 6 rows here in the opening front of the field. Ray back to the lead on the push from Osronaut. He'll go to the bumper of Navarro outside. Falkingham, Velicki, Hill, Basin, Smith. Navarro through the middle. He wants to lead. Osronaut wants it on the bottom. 3 wide for the race lead, headed back to turn 3. Wyatt Gray pushing on Navarro. Gray turns left. He goes to the bumper of Osronaut. He hangs out Navarro. Falkingham looked around Malik Ray. Nothing doing here in that battle up at the front, maybe just trying to square up. 3 by 3 by 3 by 3, 8 rows deep in the field, 24 cars that are a blanket at Talladega at 200 miles an hour. Malik Ray works to the lead on the push from Daniel Falkingham, but now it's Wyatt Gray and Andrew Navarro that jump to the bottom side. Adam Garza now files 3rd in line. Caswell will file in 4th as Velicki gets behind Falkingham. Hill gets behind Velicki, and Rocky Boyd and Evan Karlbahn, I didn't even know they were inside the top 20. They make their way through the middle now as they want track position headed down the back straightaway. Goodness, I'm joined once again in the booth by Michael Triscaro. We're going to kind of make a live swap on the fly here. Michael joins me in the booth as this is frantic, just all over the place racing in dual race number 2. Ray back to the lead, Wyatt Gray to his inside, and to the outside goes Velicki. This time, he still can't make the split work. They're going to have to probably utilize the middle. Are those 3 Jack Shack cars as Falkingham throws the block again. Back to the start-finish line. Mike, 32 to go in dual race number 2, and they're racing like it's lap 188 of the SummerSlam.
Yes, they are. Landon Velicki almost into the wall, but he's going to protect his right rear from the 48 of Alex Hill. Here he goes. They're going to split Malik Ray. Malik Ray, he's going to go back. Here comes Alex Hill to the back bumper of Landon Velicki in the 62. Falkingham, Wyatt Gray here on the bottom, and that's going to pull up the number 11 of Dylan Basin here. And wow, here we go. The 42 to the middle. They're going to shoot the middle. They're going to get to the back bumper. Man, this is chaos. 3 wide all the way through here in the front of the pack.
This is unbelievable stuff that we've managed to keep this going for this long, just throwing haymaker punches at one another, if you will, inside these race cars. Landon Velicki carrying the broadcaster banner, and the banner for the Jack Shack leads the way, as next time by it will be halfway home. Again, you may be thinking it's the last lap. Ladies and gentlemen, there are still 31 laps to go in this race, and these guys are racing like it's for $1,500 in that championship belt. Velicki, Hill throw the block on Navarro. Basin throws a block on Malik Ray. Half the outside line just got the wall off turn 2 as they're watching all this unfold. Basin in the middle on the push of Ray. They have Rocky Boyd with them. Garza, Falkingham, Gray, and others on the bottom. Navarro turns left. Andrew Navarro down the banking. He's going to have Dylan Basin with him. Topside lookout. Here comes Axel Smith in the 22 as Joe Huerta has his help. Where did they come from? Miles Bagley, Cameron Craighead, and Justin Branham are in that line.
What a drive.
Boy!
4 wide here in the front. There goes Rocky Boyd to the back of Malik Ray. Oh, wow, the 48 Alex Hill nearly gets turned. They're beating and banging here on the bottom. Here comes the 8 of Garza. We stay 3 wide, bumper to bumper. These guys, I don't know how they're keeping these 4 tires on the racetrack right now. As Malik Ray, the defending champ, goes to the high side. He's going to lead it down the Alabama Gang super stretch. Rocky Boyd gets a second life into the event by a prayer. Here he is in second.
I mean, this is some of the greatest racing I've ever seen, and they just continue to make it work. 3 wide, 4 wide, almost 5 wide a couple times, trying to make these cars 5 lanes across. Malik Ray battles back to the lead. Andrew Navarro is his push. Rocky Boyd all of a sudden is 3rd. Velicki relegated to 4th, and here comes the bottom. Alex Hill leads Evan Karlbahn, who gets through the madness, and now he's lead pusher. Daniel Falkingham is there with Dylan Basin and Adam Garza. Topside, Axel Smith, Joe Huerta somehow made their situation work as they're now 5th and 6th. absolute chaos at Talladega. Huerta grabs Smith's right rear. Joe Huerta, no prisoners for the one machine. He'll be fifth on the outside now. Smith will wait on his help. These guys calmed down a little bit and all got back in line. Smith jumps in front of Bagley. Up front continues to be Ray and Navarro, but Alex Hill and Evan Carlbon, they are not done on the bottom. They're trying to get that run regenerated, but all of a sudden back to 2 wide. Off of turn number 4, we can take a moment of a breath, but don't make it a very long one. Wyatt Gray trying to get Joe Huerta's right rear. It's going to put Adam Garza in the middle. Nobody going to the 8 of the Good Wrench Chevy.
No, they are not. Right now, Evan Carlbon, though, he's got 2 teammates right above him, and the 1 in Horta and the 62 of Veliky. He just can't get up there right now. We'll see if that is the plan here to get the 78 up in front in the middle there of his Jack Shack teammates. Astronaut about 4 cars behind Evan Carlbon right now as he tries to make his way with another life into the SummerSlam 499. It's going to be Garza all the way, Dawson, to the back of the pack. He's going to have to file in. Wow, he was just up front. All that work goes to nothing right now with 28 laps to go. Malik Ray still pacing the field here. Right behind him, it's going to be Andrew Navarro, who actually started this race in the pits. So a great try for Navarro to get back into it. He's got a shot at this one here tonight, as does Rocky Boyd. And on the bottom of the racetrack, it's still that 48 of Alex Hill trying to find some help here from Carlbon and Falkingham, but the bottom lane not working right now. I'll tell you what, Dawson, the difference that I noticed in the heats versus the duel, that middle lane generates so much more power with 40 cars on the racetrack in a different weather setting. The middle can work. You just need some partners. Horta gets out of line, not sure why. He's going to go to the back.
What he was trying to do was get on the bumper of Alex Hill and line those Jack Shack cars up 1, 2, 3 on the bottom. He just could not get the spot. Trevor Osmond's going to be nice to his teammate there and let the 1 car in 5th in line. So he was trying to get to the bottom. You'll see sometimes, and Alex Hill does this so well, you'll see like a delayed move. They'll get a run, they'll move to the middle, and then they'll cut across the bottom. It'll be like 2 separate moves. Joe Huerta tried that right there, and it just did not work. Carlbon got Hill just a little bit too much speed, or perhaps it was Falkingham 3rd in line as those Jack Shack cars look to get it going. Through the middle, Adam Garza, Miles Bagley, Nick Seipel through the sucker hole. Osmonaut's going to try to look to get up out back of them, or out front of them rather, about halfway deep in the field. Field works by Matthew Patton again as we start to try 3 wide one more time. It's back around Garza, so it's about 15 positions deep, but they are trying to get that middle lane to roll and having some limited success. They're up to Dylan Basin in about the 12th position. Do want to let you know some housekeeping. Some cars have lost the draft as Axel Smith looks around 3 wide. Basin's going to go on the nose with Garza. Seipel's going to go with him. And as soon as I go to talk about a second pack, I can't even do that. Gray jumps on the bumper of Basin. Now all of a sudden it's 7, 8, 9 cars in the middle, and that middle line starts to generate. Look at the run that they have. Mike, you just called it out. Wyatt Gray is going to go from 10th to almost the lead here in turn 1.
Into turn 1, it's a 30-car pack here at the front, all the way back to Jason Wallet in 30th. Wyatt Gray, the Snickers is going to go to the top and check it up behind.
Nick Seipel, they're going to wreck. Joey Gatina's in the outside wall, crashing in the middle of the Alabama gang super stretch. Cameron Craighead's involved. Another car piles in late, and the caution flag will halt us with 25 to go after one of the wildest 15-lap runs I can ever remember in PGR history.
We can't race right now. We're watching. This has been one heck of a duel here, duel number 2. I'll tell you what, Dawson, this race car, this Gen 6 Cup car, I mean, this thing races like none other here on the service. It's the most fun car. The runs that these cars generate and the amount of electricity they bring to the show here at Talladega, this has been phenomenal racing. And you parlay that with such a high-quality field in both duels. I mean, we have eNASCAR Coke Series pros. We have contenders. We have guys that do this each night of the week. And these guys are putting on a show for all the fans watching at home. Man, it's a privilege just to be up in this booth calling this race with you as Wyatt Gray, the young man up front here. And I'll tell you what, Navarro to his outside, I mean, unbelievable race. And these kids too, these kids that are still up and coming on iRacing, a guy like Wyatt Gray, to be able to race with Malik Ray and Daniel Falkingham, they've learned so much over time racing with them, and here they are, you know, just as good as they are, at least on these super speedways, and it's showing tonight.
I want to give you an update on that crash. You saw it was Joey Gattina that got sideways first of all in the 14. It started up ahead of him with the Alex Hill machine, kind of getting out of shape as he threw it on the nose of Axel Smith under the green flag just before that. You saw Hill get out of shape. You saw a couple cars around him get out of shape. And then it was Seipel into Gattina that started the crash. Mauricio Marquez Ramos, the other car I saw get involved along with Seipel and Miles Bagley. So 4 cars that I saw get involved. Maybe a couple more got a glancing blow in this incident as a result of our second caution of the night. But goodness, I mean, about as wild, as elbows up, as edge of your seat as you could ask for. I've been out of breath a couple times already in this race, and we still have 24 laps to go. Unfortunate for the guys involved. Seipel obviously was running really well, so too was Bagley. The penalty here going to go to Alex Hill. I figured it would be maybe to Gattina. It will be issued to Alex Hill by virtue of that block on the back straightaway that got him out of shape. So Alex Hill gets the penalty. We see the first real implementation of the newly interpreted blocking rule as of this afternoon, and Alex Hill going to be the first to be the victim of that rule. So Hill gets the penalty. He will have to go all the way to the tail end of the field and try to work his way back up through the spots and get back into a transfer. Well, I'll tell you what, and I talked about this with Baker, Mike, before you got back in here. I said if they got past halfway and we had a caution right about lap 40 like we did in the first duel race, it would bring everybody back, but also this time no green flag pit stop in play, which means the entire field will be in play for the final 20 laps of duel race number 2, racing for 20 spots.
Well, we definitely have not seen the last yellow here of this duel. It's going to go down to the wire here tonight, but I expect many more yellows. And hey, we're going to throw a little curveball here in the broadcast, Dawson. We're going to be going on 3 years here. Hold on, buddy. We're going to go here on 3 years in January for the foundation here of PGR eSports. Started this kind of on a limb, man. Got on the service. We're going to wait, buddy. We're going to bring you in just a second, but PGR is named after my son, Pacey Gray. He's now 4 years old. He just got home and he joined me up here real quick in the broadcast booth. So, buddy, go tell everyone how they doing out there on the racetrack. Well, no, just how are they doing? Are they doing good?
They're doing good.
Which car are you cheering for?
The other, that one.
That one? Yeah, the one that's in the front. Well, he's a big Chase Elliott. Did you meet Chase Elliott this year? And actually, you met Dawson, too. You met Dawson the broadcaster at Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's your favorite part about racing? The cars? Crashing? Oh, he loves to crash, is Dawson. So, yeah, it's a cool thing, man. I know we're going to be going green next time by, but it's all about the how it all started. Named this series after my son, and man, it's grown into something I never thought it would be. And you know, the PGR eSports, it's not just me, man. It's you, Dawson, it's Austin, it's Baker, it's all the drivers that race here throughout the week, throughout the years, and we're doing a really good thing here with the SummerSlam 499 and the PGR 500. Obviously, you know, a big event like Podium kind of went away. We kind of filled that void, and just to see all these drivers come out, and you know, I was talking to Merck in the duel race before this, and your heart's pounding like it has never pounded before. That doesn't happen really on a normal night of the week. It possibly does in the last lap, but you know, there's guys nervous for these heats. There's guys nervous for the duels, and that is why I do it, and that's why I love to do this. Is, you know, amongst all the chaos we have with you know, EOLs and causes of caution and all the penalties and stuff we get, man, at the end of the day, man, this is just awesome to see all these guys come out and put this event on. So I appreciate you guys and everyone else, man. This is something.
And look, as we get ready to go back green, I kind of had to sit back, you know, when you had that moment there, you know, with your son. For those of us that have been around for, you know, for me, it's going on the 2-year mark at this point that I've been around PGR. Really, we're getting I think it's in the next couple weeks that I reach my 2-year with PGR. It's surreal because it's how long it's been, but it's also how much it's grown. You know, those of us that remember coming out and watching 40 guys race on a Thursday for, you know, 20 people watching, to this caliber of event we put on now. This is the second year we run 499 miles. The second year we've had 160 plus signups. So really surreal moment there for those of us that have been around. You take a second. I had to lean back for a moment and reflect. So I appreciate that moment, Mike, as those of us have been around for a long time. I get a chance to reflect on how far we've come and how far we still have to go. I mean, this weekend's not over. and certainly much more coming in the future. Green flag back in the air here in dual race number 2. Wyatt Gray off to the races on the inside on Andrew Navarro's nose. You had a chance to breathe if you're in this front pack, but that doesn't last any longer. The field works up the banking of turn 1. Gray, Navarro clear. Velicki by himself on the bottom with Gordon Spain coming to his aid. The 38, one of the stories of the heat races, based into the outside of Navarro. Navarro has to bail to the bottom. It's Dylan Basin in the FedEx Toyota that gets on the bumper now of Wyatt Gray on the backstretch.
Masterclass move by the 11 of Dylan Basin to get the right rear of Andrew Navarro, as Navarro's now going to hop all the way down to this bottom lane. They're going to funnel back to Landon Velicki in the 62. Evan Carlbon, man, he is in a good spot. They're crashing in the back, crashing in the very back of this pack. Yellow flag out.
Oh, yeah, and this is a relatively large incident, too. Yaroslav Donskoy, Michael Anthony, Jason Wallet, Miles Bagley, severe damage on the 87. Looks like Chris Blanchard's got some damage potentially as well. Nope, looks like Blanchard's clean. He was going through the grass and shedding some dirt. We'll go back and take a look. This was towards the tail end of the field as they got into turn number 3. Yaroslav Donskoy in the back of Nathan Harper. He gets hit from behind, and it's on from there. Wallet, Mauricio Marquez Ramos, Michael Anthony, and a couple of others. Man, Alex Hill was back there. He scrambled. Going to be interesting to see if the 48 managed to make his way through this, as he had just come off the penalty in that 48 machine. So we'll get another look here in just a moment. He looks to be clean. So Alex Hill, boy, this is about the worst case scenario if you're Alex Hill here. You get the penalty and a crash starts right in front of you. He's running behind Miles Bagley. Let's take another look back in the field. You're going to see it kind of trigger up in front of him. Oh, he actually does get a hit there on Bagley. Curious to see if that did any damage, but he scrambles through the minefield. Does he make his way through it? He does. So Alex Hill continues on with what should be minimal damage, maybe some front end damage, but even looks like the front end is clean and clear for the Gatorade Zero Chevrolet. Not so much for some guys behind them. Bagley, Mauricio Marquez Ramos, Michael Anthony had some big damage, and guys scrambled to the grass to miss it. Another look at it down the Alabama Gang Super Stretch. Again, this was at the very tail end of the lead pack. As the push comes from out back of Donskoy here, you're going to see, I think it's Justin Branham that's going to get in the back of 58. Oh, he may actually be getting pushed as well. Looks like Nick Seipel is the car that's in the back of him. Around they go from there. Wallet, Marquez Ramos. See guys scramble through the grass. Look at Chris Blanchard. Goodness, Chris Blanchard is mowing the lawn down there in turns 3 and 4 as he got by it in the 9 machine, one of the title sponsors for this event. You're on board with him now. That's a little bit of a bumpy ride, but he gets out of the way and gets to safety. Oh boy, what he thought was safety. He almost gets clipped by Donskoy. Blanchard able to get through it. His race is still alive as we get ready to go back up front. And Mike, that's kind of what we talked about earlier with pushing. You can't see out the car in front of you. There's checkups in this car that are bigger than other cars, and maybe guys just did not see that checkup coming right there.
Yeah, that's what you're going to get here with the Gen 6, these big runs and a big checkup there on the top. Almost looks like bumper cars, playing bumper cars when you're a little kid at the county fair. And that's what happened up there with Harper, Branham, and others. Nick Seipel involved as well. So, man, it was just a crazy stack up there on the top, but that's going to happen. And you brought up Blanchard, man. I'll tell you what, the guy watching right now, his biggest fan, got to be John Ellis, who will get into the feature with Blanchard's provisional if Blanchard is able to race his way into the top 20. So a lot of stuff going on here in the final duel of the night. And don't forget, we're going to spin a wheel for all the drivers 21st on back in both duel number 1 and 2 for the final provisional from Ryko Performance. Man, that is going to be wild. Who is going to get that provisional? I mean, it could go to a really good driver that might get bumped out of either of the duels. So that's going to be pretty cool too. A lot going on here, man. You don't want to miss any of this action. And tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, that feature race. And if it's anything like we have seen tonight in these duels, Dawson, it's going to be one of the best races we have seen in quite some time.
I was just thinking the same thing. I thought Duel 1 was crazy with some of the racing we saw there, and then the crash at the front of the field, blew the field apart in the tri-oval. I thought Duel 1 had it all. That 12 to 15 lap run a moment ago before these 2 caution flags, seriously, was some of the most exhilarating racing I have watched in a really, really long time on the service. So if you like what you're seeing, this is, by the way, only the Duel race, as Mike kind of noted. We still have 499 miles tomorrow. These guys aren't even racing for a championship belt. They're not even racing for $1,500. They're racing for $100. They're racing to start second tomorrow. And that's basically all there is. Once you're inside the top 20, there's not a whole lot to race for besides your starting spot and a $100 prize for the duel winner. If these guys are willing to lay things on the line like they are today for $100 in that win in the duel race, boy, imagine what they're willing to do tomorrow when the championship belt is in your grasp, when you can see it on the track in front of you. I can only imagine what guys are going to be willing to do. And, you know, it kind of comes down to, Mike, another point I wanted to make. You're trying to transfer, yes, and obviously there's going to be guys that don't make the race out of this one for whatever reason. But for the guys that end up making it out, you're going to have a list of notes. You're going to have a mental notebook of moves that you can and can't make, of things you can and can't do, of people you can and can't work with, depending on how you get together here in this second duel race. You're going to have a lot of notes going into tomorrow as well that help you game plan for that race. But as Michael Guest and Kyler Wynn both noted, in this Gen 6 car, with as unpredictable as it is, there's really no game planning for the event tomorrow.
No, I'll tell you what, man, drop of that green flag, you cannot prepare for what's going to happen. And we've seen that throughout the heats and now through the duels. And, you know, it's like you get an EOL or you get caught up in a wreck. I mean, you got to pivot to a different plan. And, you know, I know that from both my heat and from my duel. So, you know, you can bring all the notes you want, but they can go out the window really quick here at Talladega in this Gen 6 car. So, yeah, it's going to be wild tomorrow. This is going to be wild the rest of the way right now, as we are going to have 17 laps to go when we go back green here. You know me. I'm always looking for the upset story, the underdog, a guy like Evan Carlbahn here at the front of the race. You know, and even tomorrow, you know, these Falkinghams, Malik Grace, they won a lot of money. We're not up here to cheer for anyone specific, but I would love to see someone break through and take down the top dogs and win that $1,500, that championship belt, bragging rights for the next year as we get to the restart zone once again. The drop of the green flag again, 17 laps to go as Wyatt Gray in the 18 and Dylan Basin take off here 2 by 2 through the field. It's Garza, Carlbahn, Falkingham, your top 5.
Pit stops are off the board, ladies and gentlemen. The gloves are going to come off. It's going to be top 20 or bust, and you no longer have to think about the fuel tank. You just got to think about the cars in front of you and around you. On the inside, Gray, Garza, Falkingham, Navarro. On the outside, Basin. How about Evan Carlbahn? To the outside goes the 78 for the Jack Shack. He's got Brian Hennings pushing him. That's going to allow the bottom to drive all the way through, but here comes the push to the back of the 78. On the outside comes Carlbahn. They'll come down to side draft. Got to be careful here for the guys out back. But if Evan looks in the mirror, he's got a lot of Jack Shack colors behind him. Oswornoth blocks Rocky Boy to the wall. Veliky throws it on Oswornoth's nose. Garza's going to throw it on Carlbahn's nose, and now Garza leads the outside as Gray goes back to the point in the race. Falkingham goes to second, pushing him on the bottom, as on the outside, man, Hennings trying to get around Evan Carlbahn on the outside. It gets him out of shape just a little bit, does the 74. Carlbahn, though, again, 3 teammates behind him. Caution flag, though, as they crash towards the back of the field.
Yeah, we had a wreck there, middle pack, I believe. It starts, I think, Alex Hill involved again. Man, he is having some bad luck now ever since he went to the tail end of this field. And track position, a very important piece to the puzzle. Alex Hill, I mean, he makes it 4 wide here, right above the restart zone. And I believe the 88 comes up just a little bit. And I'm going to try to figure out who that 88 car is. But that's essentially going to get this yellow thrown out. We're going to zoom in right there. And I believe the 88, yeah, that's going to be Caswell there. So Alex shoots Alex is driving. Yeah, here comes the call from race control as Hill goes to the middle here. Caswell gets pushed up by Seipel just a little bit. And that's really what ends up causing this caution here. It looked like Alex was there, so we'll have to see if there's any EOLs. I'm not sure there's going to be, but heavy damage to Branham. I mean, what a race. 5 wide here, 5 wide, unbelievable.
5 wide in the Tri-Oval at Talladega. They have room for 4, and boy, for a split second, I thought we might have had room for 5, but unfortunately right there, they all come together. Alex Hill is weaving that car back and forth like he's on a sheet of ice, and keeps that car alive again. So Alex Hill, he's bought himself a few mulligans in this race. Usually they only get 1. Hill's gotten about 3 at this point in this dual race as he tries to join some of his teammates here towards the front of the field. So another incident towards the back end. Really, again, another one I think that could have been a lot worse than it was. We kind of get away with one in the mid-pack. Mike George goes for a spin, but even the 29 may not have a ton of damage here. So for the guys involved in that one, really no harm, no foul towards the tail end of the field. Well, we're going to re-rack, and boy, this is going to get interesting because we're going to have, I believe, around 12 laps to go when we go back under the green flag as our 5th caution flag of the night comes out here in duel number 2. Wyatt Gray leads, Daniel Falkingham 2nd, Andrew Navarro 3rd, Gordon Spain is 4th, Axel Smith in the 5th spot. Adam Garza is 6th, Malik Ray 7th, Evan Carlbon is 8th, Brian Hennings is 9th, and Joe Huerta is 10th. And as we get ready to kind of get into the closing stages, Mike, only 12 laps to go, and for some guys it's desperation time. I'm talking about Alex Hill for one in 25th. I'm talking about even back further than him, Chris Blanchard in the 30th spot. The guys with damage as well that are still on pit road. Several have gone multiple laps down as well. So Miles Bagley, by the way, after that last wreck, called it a night. So too did Matthew Zwack earlier in the race. Their 499 chances are over. So too is Andrew Zanto. So all those guys are out, as well as Hunter East and Nathan Rostisil. Those are the cars out of the race. But Mike, for some of these guys now, as attrition starts to take over, you still have to be aggressive and come through the field. You can't focus on, I got to calm down because there was just a wreck, and you see cars getting taken out left and right. You still have to get inside that top 20. And for guys like Seipel out as of now, Caswell, Corbett, Branham, Hill, Broadfoot, even back all the way to Jason Wallet, it's desperation time with 12 laps to go.
Yeah, you got to be on that gas pedal, and you got to be making all the right moves on the racetrack. When you're coming from that back of that pack or mid-pack, you have to go with every run you see. It also involves a little bit of luck when you make those moves. And you know, it's what's crazy is you could get there on the top, and as soon as you get to the back bumper of someone, you're checking up. So you got to make that decision. Do you go with a run down the middle if it comes? Do you go block that middle run, and do you take that to the front? Or is that going to end up, you know, hurting you doing that? So it's just, this car just creates so much chaos in your mind, that, you know, it just on your decision making as the clouds coming here over the speedway, making it just a tad darker here. But hey, nonetheless, pace car light's still on. We're going to go green next time by. You spoke about, man, Gordon Spain. He has raced this event really, really well. He's put in the time and the work under the tutelage of John Ward, and it's paying off. And another guy right outside the top 10 right now in a transfer spot, that's going to be Sean Rowe in the 99 Davidson Specialty Tools Toyota. So some guys up here can make some noise, get into this feature tomorrow, and you just never know what's going to happen. With these top dogs here, you know, a wreck can happen. Well, you're never going to know till the last lap tomorrow. You're going to have to watch that entire feature because it's going to come down to the very last lap, as is this duel. I'm looking forward here to the last 12 laps of this one. We'll see if Falkingham and Gray can hold off a ferocious leaderboard here behind them.
Yeah, a couple notes before we go back under the green flag. Some of the guys towards the tail end of the transfer spots right now I think are notable of mentioning too. Justin Melikar, one of the new additions to Team PGR, he is 16th on the speedway right now, and he is right around a couple cars that he normally runs with. Mark Person in the 40. How about the 40 machine also running with the Team PGR colors on his car tonight? They're both newly found additions to that race team, so both of them just inside the transfer positions. I'm looking at Zach Range, a guy that just came back to PGR really this weekend for the first time in about a year. He's inside a transfer spot. Jesse Calloway got the final spot out of his heat race this afternoon. He is currently inside a transfer spot. So too is Nathan Harper, who won his heat race. Some work to do to get comfortable for Harper, but back inside a transfer spot, potentially trying to get into the SummerSlam 499. The race control call, if you didn't see it, no EOL issued. There was netcode between Alex Hill and Justin Branham in that incident, so no EOL will be given out, and as such we will continue on with no penalties. So we're getting ready to go back green. It will be 12 laps to go. It's about the darkest the racetrack has been all weekend in terms of the cloud cover. Really interesting change of dynamic here in terms of the aesthetic of the race, but nonetheless the track is still the same, maybe a little bit cooler for these drivers though. And boy, if anything, as the track gets cooler, I think the action's going to heat up even more as we continue through this race. Going back green, 12 laps to go, And here we go. 20 guys in, 22 guys out. Green flag back in the air. Wyatt Gray off and running. He'll get on the bumper of Falkingham, you'd imagine, here once we cross the start-finish line. Navarro is on the bottom, waiting for the decision from Gray. He'll go to the outside. Falkingham, Spain, Garza is his help along with Carlbahn. On the bottom side, Navarro, Axel Smith, Malik Ray, Brian Hennings. There goes Carlbahn. The Jack Shack cars line up and push Adam Garza into the sucker hole. He's going backwards. Out back a couple more Jack Shack cars. It's Osmonaut and Basin that are now going to jump inside the top 10. All of a sudden, the Jack Shack has 5 race cars inside the top 12 on the speedway. And into 3, it's Gray and Falkingham. But watch out back as those teammates are lined up 5 deep in line behind the leaders.
Strength in numbers from the Jack Shack, and that's going to pay dividends here as we get to the latter stages of this race. Garza is going to parachute all the way back to the mid-pack. He has just struggled to stay up front all day long. Carlbahn, a big run into 1. Gray's going to block it. Now we have 3 wide at the front. It's Navarro on the bottom. It's the 39 of Falkingham. Gray on the top. 3x3 again here at Talladega. 4-5 cars deep. Shoot in the middle is going to be the 23 of Nathan Harper. Here he comes to try to get comfortably in the top 20. The race is on for the transfer spots and the $100 awaiting the winner in victory lane.
Next time by, 10 laps to go at Talladega in dual race number 2. The final 20 spots in the biggest sim racing event of the summer are on the line. Wyatt Gray leads. You got to be careful here if you're the 18, because in his mirror, it is the strength in numbers of the Jack Shack. 5 cars deep. Carlbahn, Huerta, Veliky, Osmonaut, Basin line up on the outside, but the middle is where the strength is. Andrew Navarro and Daniel Falkingham, two of the longest tenured super speedway racers on the service, now go back to the bottom. Tandem up on the bottom side. They'll go all the way to the race lead. Gray gets shoved by Carlbahn. An awkward moment there between the 18 and the 39. They keep it going. Out back, Rocky Boyd and Gordon Spain come together. We're going to go 4 wide. Rocky Boyd shoves Sean Rowe out of line. It'll be Rowe going backwards as the middle line evaporates. Back into 3, Navarro, Falkingham lead the topside bottom, now led by Axel Smith, Malik Ray, Brian Hennings, and Zach Range as they work forward off the banking of 4.
Yeah, Axel Smith right now, he's got that bottom lane going. He's got Malik Ray to his back bumper. He is in a safe location right now. If you do the math, here comes the 38 back up the middle.
Car in the wall hard. It's Rocky Boyd in the 16 that goes sideways in front of the field, and the caution flag flies with 9 to go. He hit the wall a ton in that 16 car, and he comes to rest at the entrance of turn number 1.
Yeah, what I'm looking at here, Dawson, is at least on my screen, he actually goes black on my screen. When he reappears, he actually net codes through the 11 of Basin, through the 84 of Melikar, and through the 75 of Seipel. I honestly think that's an internet connection issue, and luckily for the guys I just mentioned, they might not have any damage. So I think this is going to be okay for those guys that were hit, and it is. I heard just from race control a network connection issue as his screen blacked out. He goes up into those drivers I mentioned, and he netcodes right through them. So no harm, no foul on this one, but it's just going to re-rack the field one more time.
That is one of the more odd looks I've ever seen, for as realistic as iRacing, is. And a lot of it really in the way that we have to race is realistic. Sometimes you have an incident where you're reminded, yes, this is still virtual. Yes, this is not on real life Talladega Superspeedway. Yes, sometimes connection and technical issues happen, and we all have to deal with it. And that's what happens to Rocky Boyd. I'll tell you this, it's almost lucky that he kind of phases through those cars because they keep him off the wall. The way it looked on my end from where I was looking at this one, I thought he nosed into the outside retaining wall, and that would have been a really hard hit if he had done so. But really, when I go back and look, he just kind of phases through those 3 cars. That is one of the more odd looks I've seen. Rocky Boyd is probably the luckiest driver in virtual Lincoln, Alabama right now, as he will get another shot. He'll have some damage still. That car was not unscathed, but as hard as he was going to hit the wall if he continued up, the fact that he escaped without much damage, and the fact, by the way, that those 3 cars on the outside escaped without much damage, really lucky to get away with one there, thanks to some faulty internet connections, I guess, if you will. So for Rocky Boyd, a tough break there for the driver of the 16 in terms of track position, but got lucky and again bought himself another opportunity to get back into this race. He'll fix the damage on pit road. Well, single digits now remain in dual race number 2 as we are going to take it down to 5 laps to go when we go back under the green flag. Matthew Patton getting one of his laps back, but he is, I believe, 4 to 5 laps down in that 3 car. So we will get back going with 5 to go, and we enter now territory that we were in dual race number 1. If you'll remember back, we had a couple late restarts in that race. We had 2 overtime attempts, and it resulted in some chaos at the front of the field in the transfer positions where the race had gone green, maybe not quite as much. Now we open the door to 3-4 more cautions that we could get here over the next several laps beyond regulation should we need them. We'll go ahead and remind you, because this will come into play should these guys have another incident on the racetrack. There will be 3 green-white checkered attempts. There was only 1 in the heat races. There will be 3 in this second dual race should we need them. The first 2 will be normal. If a caution happens, if a crash happens that is worthy of a caution flag, it will be thrown, we'll re-rack, and we'll go for another attempt. On that 3rd and final attempt, should we get there, we'll be allowed to run out, and whatever happens, happens. All bets are off on that 3rd green-white checkered attempt, and you just got to do what you can to get yourself into that top 20. Again, any crash now from now to the end of the race will be worthy of an overtime attempt. So I wanted to get you updated on that. Heat 1 required dual 1, required 2 overtime attempts. Duel 2, we'll see how many that we need. Tell you what, an interesting development I'm looking at here, Mike, is Trevor Osbornoth. We get on board with him on the apron, and that kind of goes into what I was going to talk about. These guys are saving gas, and they are saving gas in a big way. Daniel Falkingham just dropped about 20 car lengths off Andrew Navarro, Malik Ray, Brian Hennings on the apron, Trevor Osbornoth on the apron. We got guys at the front saving fuel. We know that they would have packed fuel into it on one of the cautions with 20 to go, but it looks as if some decided to prioritize time on pit road versus packing those cars full of Sunoco fuel.
Yeah, I mean, I know from the first duel how lucky I got just to get at that caution to overcome my pit road speeding, and I was able to come back down pit road, getting the lucky dog, and fill my tank up with Sunoco racing fuel, get 4 fresh tires, and man, I was locked and loaded to go the whole distance from there. And as we had those cautions late in duel number 1, you know, you kept getting some guys pitting up front, and that just kept opening up more spots to advance with guys that were able to make some extra stops earlier. So, I mean, the fuel is definitely playing a factor in these dual races, as are the tires, like we mentioned earlier. It is actually helping put on a great show. I mean, like I said, you're not going to know what's going to happen unless you stay till the very end. A lot of drama here at Talladega, whether it be fuel, tires, or track position. I mean, this is just shaping up to be a wild finish here to set the feature field for tomorrow. Navarro, a great job from starting in the pits and in the back of the pack. Now he leads this race, and it'll be interesting to see. He has taken a long hiatus from money racing, but he is reminding the field he is one of the best, if not the best. And he is going to go side by side here on the restart with the guy that I think believes he's the best in Daniel Falkingham. So it is going to be Alpha versus Alpha here on what could be the last restart we shall see. Axel Smith in the 22 behind Navarro. On the top, Gray behind Falkingham. Malik Ray, your defending champ, starts in 5th, but he is not worried. He gets that provisional regardless. So he's just racing to get a better starting position. Let's see how it goes. Evan Carlbon, he's got 3 teammates right behind him. These guys could possibly make a move to try to win this race. We'll see.
He's actually got 4 teammates behind him back to Dylan Basin. They are 5 deep lined up in Jack Shack colors on that outside lane. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th all run under the Jack Shack banner. We'll see what they do. They're the biggest group of teammates in this dual race. They're all trying to get to the show. They don't want to do anything too much. Obviously would love to put Jack Shack on the board with a dual win in dual race number 2. Green flag back in the air. Big jump for Andrew Navarro. He's off to the races in that 42. He'll jump right to the help of Daniel Falkingham and Wyatt Gray. On the inside, Axel Smith Malik Ray, Brian Henning, Zach Range, Nathan Harper's emerged just outside the top 10 as he looks to transfer in as a heat winner. Just a little bit ago in heat race number 8. Outside gets the run off of 2. Here comes Navarro, Falkingham, Gray, and then it's the 5 Jack Shack cars out back of them. Not too far behind them is the 6th of that group in this race. Alex Hill has emerged into the transfer positions in the 48 out back as he scrambles in to get behind his teammates.
Yeah, Alex Hill making a run from the back of the pack and all that mess he's gotten himself into in this race. Seipel goes back here to the top. We're going to see, here comes Rowe. We got a lot of guys slicing and dicing on back. I tell you what, the top 12, you just really got to ride there. Do the math. You should be okay. We'll see how it all pans out. It's really the transfer position you got to worry about with 4 laps to go now. Alex Hill still trying to make moves with Seipel, but he has nowhere else to go. He is right there on the fringe of making it to tomorrow's race, right now in the 20th position. But everyone here up front, all they have to do is ride. We'll see if they do or not, or if somebody's going to go for that $100.
We are both on edge up here in the broadcast booth. Garrett Caswell, the huge move out back on Nick Seipel, and Seipel shows his frustration for the move Garrett Caswell just did. Caswell's going to shoot the middle on Alex Hill, and that will not get much help because Seipel, indecisive where he wants to go. He's going to go with Hill on the outside, and Caswell will be stuck in the sucker hole. Up front, Navarro, Falkingham continue to lead the way. It'll be 3 more circuits around Talladega when they come back. 3 more laps to set the field for the SummerSlam 499. Next time by, it'll be 2 to go, and I'm on the edge of my seat as we approach the white flag. Outside down to side draft. Axel Smith continues to lead that inside line. Great run for the 22. And my question here, Mike, is how aggressive do those Jack Shack cars get? Mike, they are lined up 6 deep on the outside back to Alex Hill now.
Yeah, they are. They could make a run at any point in time. Do they want to take the risk? Do they want to take the gamble? Or do they just want to get into the feature tomorrow? 4 wide in the back. They're nearly wrecking. Oh! They are. 2 cars in the wall, 4 cars involved. Caution on the racetrack. And that's going to put us in NASCAR overtime here in duel number 2.
It's Mike George in the 29. It's Richard Elliott, I believe, in the 02. He may have actually driven past that. It's Mauricio Marquez Ramos. Gordon Spain is involved in this one as well. A couple more cars piled in also to this incident here in turn number 3. They were 4 wide. Spain may have taken a look on Yaroslav Donskoy. He gets out of shape after contact with Justin Branham. Sean Corbett is involved. Man, big hit there for Spain. Jason Wallet may have gotten a piece there as well. As those guys jockeyed back around those transfer positions, Spain made a big move, but unfortunately it doesn't pay off for him. Another look here as we look from behind the incident. You see the 36 of Marquez Ramos, you see Donskoy, and you see the Corbett machine there in the middle coming into the scene of the 4 wide. And Gordon Spain here, as he took the 4 wide look, they just bounce off each other and start to crash on the banking of turn 3. Man, it's a big hit for the 38. Big hit for Mike George also. And more crashing up ahead. There were a couple more cars that got sideways in this. Couldn't really tell who those cars were at first, but they drove away. They did get a piece of this, though, out back of the incident. Corbett was one of them. We noted him. There was one more around Corbett that's also going to get a piece of the secondary. We'll see if we can see which car that is. There's Donskoy, Spain, Branham, Rowe. They're all kind of in the middle of this 4 wide. And, Corbett actually got hit from out back. It's Gattina that was the other car that I saw. It's the 14 of Joey Gattina is the other car involved slightly in this one. So about 6 cars total involved. It was out back in the lead pack around the transfer positions. And Mike, that goes into the desperation. Gordon Spain did what he felt like he had to do to go 4 wide, and it just doesn't work out for him there in turn 3.
Yeah, at this point in time, you got to do what you got to do. It did not work out for him here, but we'll see who it works out for here on the next restart of this race. It'll be the first attempt of a possible 3 at a green-white checkered. Like you said earlier, a yellow will be thrown on the first lap for a caution here in the first 2. If we get to the 3rd, they will most likely run it out unless it's amongst all of the leaders up front. So a lot of storylines here still left to play out in duel number 2. We talked about the Jack Shack. They own many spots here in the top 10, just outside the top 10 as well. But if you look at the top 20 in general, it's a lot of guys you see racing every night of the week in the money racing community. That practice is paying off in dividends right now for these drivers. Garza right now, he looks to be, I think he's in the 20th position. So one of the best drivers in this field on the fringe. Rocky Boyd, he's brought his machine all the way back up here with a chance to get into the feature tomorrow. And there's also a lot on the outside looking in. And we mentioned one of the big names out of this race, Matthew Zwack, who has not been able to return to the racetrack. So anything could happen. We saw it with Garrett Maines in his heat as he exited early from the event. Is something going to happen here up front that might cause a Daniel Falkinghammer and Navarro to lose their spot up front and essentially the duel and the feature tomorrow if something happens for one of these guys going for that $100? We'll see how it all plays out. We're going to go around one more time till we get the green.
Well, let's set the stage for you. It's pretty self-explanatory here, pretty cut and dry what you have to do. You have to get inside the top 20. And the guys up front, you can't race yourself out of the top 20. And what do I mean by that? It's throwing a bad block. It's making a bad move, a late move, and getting yourself into a crash. It's putting your car in a place where maybe there's not a gap for a car trying to get the victory instead of prioritizing getting your car into the show tomorrow. There's plenty of ways you can make mistakes right here on this restart that will jeopardize your potential to make tomorrow afternoon's race. And for about the top 12, maybe the top 14, you just don't want to make one of those moves. Going for the win is fine. And we've seen guys do it all through the heats and all through the dual race in dual race number 1. We saw guys make what they thought was a race-winning move. You just can't get what is going to be a weekend-costing move here in these last 2 laps. We're now in PGR overtime. This is the first of a potential 3 attempts at overtime finishes. This first one, again, if a crash occurs on the first lap, a caution will be thrown. We will re-rack and move to our second attempt. 3 total should we need them. We needed 2 in dual race number 1. We'll see how many we need here in dual race number 2. Garrett Caswell occupies the final transfer spot. Up front, let's re-rack it. Andrew Navarro and Daniel Falkingham on row number 1. Wyatt Gray and Axel Smith on row number 2. Evan Carlbon and Malik Ray on row number 3. Joe Huerta and Brian Hennings on row number 4. And then it's Landon Velicki and Zach Range that will go from row number 5. Notably just inside the transfer positions, Trevor Osranaut, Nathan Harper, Jesse Calloway, Dylan Basin, Alex Hill, Nick Seipel, Justin Melikar, Mark Person, Adam Garza, and Garrett Caswell. And here are the names that are not in as of right now, at least the ones that are still on the lead lap. It's 33 cars total. Rocky Boyd, Sean Rowe, Brandon Broadfoot, Yaroslav Donskoy, Jesse Baker, Justin Branham, Michael Anthony, Joey Gattina, Sean Corbett, Chris Blanchard, Jason Wallet, Mauricio Marquez Ramos, and Richard Elliott. Those are the cars that are on the lead lap with a chance to still make it. 33 cars, 20 spots. Something has to give. Dual race number 1 took 2 overtime attempts. We enter the first here for dual race number 2. This one has had a little bit more attrition than the first 60-lapper today at Talladega. 20 spots remain in the SummerSlam 499. Who gets the job done in the duels and who's moving on to race in the biggest sim racing event of the summer? Andrew Navarro will start from the lead. Green flag is in the air. We're underway in PGR overtime. Great restart on the bottom for both Gray and Navarro. They may both get up here on the entry to turn number 1. And Mike, that leads. Oh, Malik Gray on Axel Smith. Smith goes through the middle. Malik got his right rear. Brian Hennings went with him. And Mike, that leaves the Jack Shack cars alone on the bottom.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make a move. They're going to have a big run here on the bottom on exit. Falkingham back to Gray here. Will they go underneath? They don't. They're stacking up. That stack puts Malik Gray almost in the middle. Hennings is going to check up. 3 wide farther back. The Jack Shack, though, has the bottom of the racetrack. Can Porta push Carlbon to one of the biggest victories of his career here on iRacing? Navarro still leads the top 2 by 2 outside turn number 4.
Got to be careful if you're those cars on the inside. Don't do anything to cost yourself the weekend. Don't do anything too crazy. The field will see the white flag as they get back. 1 lap to go. White flag is up in dual race number 2.
White flag, Navarro's going to take it. Oh, he's almost going to get turned. Stack up here on the top. Navarro's got to pick. Where is he going to go? He might get hung out. Gray gets to the back bumper of him. They better be careful. Malik looks above Falkingham. He doesn't take it. Garza shoots the middle. He's going for broke. It might funnel him to the back. We'll see. Evan Carlbon holds the bottom. We stay 2x2. No one wanted to get up their track position. It looks like we might be able to race clean. Malik Ray, Juan Hennings to get to his back bumper. We'll see what they got out of turn number 4.
Watch out, Daniel Falkingham. Don't throw that block. The 39's just got to make the show. Off turn 4 in the final duel race. Gray blocks once. Navarro blocks him. Gray to the outside. Malik Gray has a run. They crash in the tri-oval. Falkingham, Osranoff goes sideways. It's a battle for the transfers. At the line, Gray steals duel 2. And out back, it's chaos for the final spots.
I believe Astronaut gets the 20th spot according to timing. There could be some EOLs coming, we'll have to see, but Astronaut with 8-9 lives in this event, somehow, some way, getting wrecked coming to the start-finish line. Looks like he's in 20th, Katina 21st. This is wild. Wyatt Gray's going to win the race. Navarro and Hennings top 3. A great run for the always steady Brian Hennings of Team PGR. I mean, wow, a lot to unpack here on the last lap in the tri-oval. And it's going to start here, I think, Dawson, with Seipel. And we're going to have to go back here and see. We could have some penalties. So if you're watching, do not go anywhere here. We're waiting word from race control. Now, Seipel did not make it into the transfer spot. So if the cause is on him, that won't matter. So we're going to go back here to that replay, Dawson, and dissect it to see if there's any penalties coming.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one here off turn 4. I saw it spark, but I didn't really see what got it going. I was busy watching Gray and Navarro and Malik Ray battle for the win in the duel race. You're getting a closer look at it now. We'll focus on the Jack Shack car of Trevor Osbornoff, who ends up almost the worst off out of this. He comes home, by the way, unofficially in 19th. So as of now, he's in. Watch Seipel. He's just to the outside in that Miami Dolphins car. Falkingham is going to try to get back to the middle. And man, what in the world sparked this? Osranoff goes straight up the racetrack. I wonder, it could have been netcode. We saw some netcode earlier in the event as well, in this duel race specifically. We've seen a couple bouts with it here in the second duel. So we'll go back, we'll take another look. I'm just curious to see, is it netcode off the 75? Is it a push from out back? A lot to dissect here as Mike.
I'm looking at Zach Range here, and you know, knowing Baker and how he calls races, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a racing incident. But I'm going to zoom in here. Here it comes.
Yeah, it's Zach Range. That's a good call, Mike. I didn't see that before. Basin, you're on board with the 11. He's going to get in the back of Osranoff here. What you're not going to see on your screen is Zach Range actually pushing him to Osranoff's back bumper. Basin's trying not to get into Trevor Osranoff here because in the trial, when they start to scramble, that's when a lot of bad things can happen. Basin's just trying to give as much room as he can, and Range just pushes him right through the back bumper of the 89 and gets all of them out of shape. And out of line at the line was Osranoff, but lucky that most of the cars, I think, that got involved in that incident were already inside the transfer spots. I think they stayed there. So it looks like we may have survived any major incidents there. Now, I'm very curious here what the call potentially will be against Zach Range, because we've seen this called before when you push through and cause an incident. I'm curious to see if Zach Range will receive any discipline here in the 043. Did you see anything else there, Mike?
Yeah, I'm looking at it from a side view. Here, one second. We're seeing here if Baker is making a call. So here's what I see. Range is pushing the back of Basin. And what happens here is he pushes him into the back of Astronaut, which sends Astronaut essentially, if I really go in slow motion, it sends Astronaut. Well, you know, it's tough. It's tough because, yeah, it moves Astronaut just a little bit, but Astronaut probably going to save it. And then he doesn't have a chance to save it because Axel Smith is getting shoved from Justin Melikar right into the back of Zach Range. So I don't know. I would think Baker's going to call this a racing incident based on, you know, everyone on the last lap pushing nose to tail. We'll find out here momentarily, but that if there is an EOL, that would pull Range out and that would pull Joey Gattina in. But I have not heard of any EOLs as of right now. But man, drama all the way to the very last lap.
I'll tell you what, Mike, on my timing and scoring, I see unofficially that Gattina would already be in 20th, and Rocky Boyd would be the first man out and in on an EOL. So we'll see. Obviously, the official results may be a little bit different, and we still wait for a call. So let's go through the unofficial results first, because the top about 19 cars are all but decided here. Wyatt Gray gets the victory in a frantic dual race number 2 by 8/100ths over the returning Andrew Navarro, who goes second. It's Brian Hennings for Team PGR, a heck of a run for the 74 in third. The defending champ Malik Ray, no provisional needed here. He'll race tomorrow on a 4th place finish in dual race number 2. Evan Carlbon, great run for that Jack Shack driver. You heard from him in dual race number 1. He races in 5th in dual race number 2. Nathan Harper, the Heat 8 winner, is in a 6th place finish. Joe Huerta goes in 7th also for the Jack Shack, and that's going to be a pattern here for these last cars in the top 10. Huerta 7th, Landon Veliky 8th, Alex Hill 9th, and Dylan Basin 10th. Those are all Jack Shack Racing entries.
Sorry about that, Dawson. Just kind of catching up to try to find out what happened here. I believe you probably did the top 10 there. So 11th on the board, that'll be Garrett Caswell. Finishing 12th in a transfer spot, Axel Smith. And here's the call. Hold on one second.
Well, Mike, let's go through the results first, because I saw the same thing you did, and I don't think it's fully official yet. So let's go through the results first, and then we'll give the call here in just a minute.
On the board would be Justin Melikar at 13th, Adam Garza 14th, Zach Range 15th, Jesse Baker in 16th, Michael A. Anthony in 17th, Daniel Falkingham barely gets in at 18th, Sean Rowe races his way in at 19th, and Trevin Ashronoff, the 20th and final spot in the duel. And wow, what a crazy top 20.
You want to talk about having a crazy roller coaster weekend? That's what Trevor Osronoff's in the middle of right now. Here are the guys that are out again as of right now. This is unofficial as of this moment. Joey Gattina does come home in the 21st spot. He beats Rocky Boyd by 8/1000ths of a second, and that might be relevant here in just a moment. So Gattina 21st, Rocky Boyd 22nd, Yaroslav Donskoy in 23rd, Justin Branham 24th, Mark Person 25th, Jesse Calloway in 26th. Chris Blanchard 27th, but he will race tomorrow by virtue of the Blanchard's towing sponsor provisional, so he will start tomorrow from the tail end of the field. Mauricio Marquez Ramos eliminated in 28th. Nick Seipel eliminated in 29th. That's a big name that we expected to be on the board potentially as a winner tomorrow. He's out in a 29th place finish. And Sean Corbett's run comes to an end. He finishes 30th. I'll go ahead and finish out these results as Mike is working with race control. Obviously, a lot going on right now with a potential call. Brandon Broadfoot 31st, Jason Wallet 32nd, Richard Elliott 33rd, Matt Patton 34th. Gordon Spain, it was a really great run, and we'll remember his heat run for a really long time, but his run comes to an end today in 35th. Mike George, 36th. Cameron Craighead, 37th. Miles Bagley, 38th. Matthew Zwack eliminated today in 39th. And Andrew Zanto finishes in 40th. Last two cars on the field, Nathan Rostasil and Hunter East, 41st and 42nd. Those are the cars officially eliminated from the SummerSlam 499. We await an official call from the race controller here as we get ready to bring you that information. We're gonna do our broadcaster's best to stall here for just a moment as we wait for a potential official word of the finishing order. And it's kind of tough when you have to wait. Let's wait until after interviews to do it. Let's go ahead and get these interviews going. And Mike, I hope you're free. I'd like to let you take the third place driver here. It's a driver you know very well. It's one of the original members of Team PGR. It's Brian Hennings in the 74 that comes home with tonight's third place finish in the dual race number 2. And Mike, as long as you're free, I'll let you stand by with your driver for Team PGR.
Brian Hennings, it is the boss man, Michael Triscaro in the booth. You got a copy.
Hell yeah. What's up, boss?
Hey, man. Well, I'm going to be joining you, or you're going to be joining me, I should say, in the feature race tomorrow. And I could already tell how happy you are. And Brian, hey, man, you I'll tell you one thing about you. If there was one word to describe Brian Hennings in the super speedway money racing community, it's the word steady. You are cool, calm, collected, and steady all of the time, as you can find that 74 in the top 10 just about every race. Tell us today about this run to third place on the podium here in duel number 2.
Just stoked to be here, man. I can't believe I got third, but I had some trouble early on with that first wreck. Got a little bit of damage. Still had some damage on the rear end the whole time, but actually wasn't too bad. And just worked my way up and kept trying to stay patient, but stay within the bubble, and just kept working out. And then near there, the end, Malik was behind Axel and doing a pretty good job. And we usually want to go top. That's usually how it works out. And those, that green white was working out on the bottom, so I'm like, all right, I'll stay behind Malik. And then on that last green white, he's like, I'm probably gonna go, and I followed him basically, and you heard him call it out. He's like, go with me. So of course I'm gonna follow Malik, and we just got a lot of energy there coming to the line, and surprised I got third. So here we are sitting here talking to you.
Well, Brian, it's been a good weekend thus far for Team PGR. We'll see if it can continue tomorrow in the feature. I cannot wait to race with you tomorrow and go for the $1,500. Before we let you go here, Brian, and celebrate that podium and that transfer into the feature, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
You and Baker, first off, for putting this event on. It's awesome to be part of. All the guys in the broadcast booth, definitely going to go watch this one. Wife and daughter for watching me when I race, and gotta say hi to Paul. He's probably watching, and Matt, he's probably watching, and all my other teammates at VRX. And special shout out to Kevin Mulcahy.
Well, Brian, we appreciate your time. We're going to send you back here to your celebration here. And Dawson, I'm actually going to check out for the sheer fact that we're going to have a review here. So I'll let you take the next two, but there is an official EOL called to Zach Range, and that could bring into the feature Joey Gattina. So I am going to go help Race Control get this appeal done, and we'll try to give you guys the word before you go off air. But man, what a race it was, and I'm looking forward to hearing from Navarro and your winner, Wyatt Gray.
Well, Mike, no worries at all. We'll let you go. We'll also wish you the best of luck in tomorrow afternoon's SummerSlam 499 as you'll be headed out from here. And we wish him the best of luck as he goes for $1,500 tomorrow. I'll pick it up from here. We'll get to the call in just a minute. I know you heard it from Michael Triscaro. We'll get to that in just a minute because there is an appeals process currently being undergone. So for now, we will continue on with our top 3 interviews. We'll move now to the man who finished in second. It's been a great weekend so far for the driver of the 42, the returning Andrew Navarro. He's a former series champion of Ron Morris Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder and a multi-time PGR Weekly Series winner. He comes back from a hiatus from Money Racing. And boy, he's had himself quite the weekend so far. Podium in his heat race, second in his dual race, and he'll start on the 4th position tomorrow afternoon, the SummerSlam 499. It's Andrew Navarro in the 42. Andrew, it's Dawson, the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've gotten to hear from you here on the PGR side of things. You come back this weekend and make your return in the SummerSlam 499, and I'd say the weekend has started off pretty well for you. Finished well in your heat race, well enough to get into today's duel, and finished well enough here to get a second-place finish in duel number 2. You'll be starting from position number 4 tomorrow afternoon in the SummerSlam 499. Tell us how you did it. Take us through your evening here tonight at Talladega in duel race number 2.
Yeah, it honestly all began last night in the heat race. Hadn't really raced in a while. Didn't know what to expect. Qualified on the pole, led 32 of the 33 laps, and lost it out of 4 because such a disadvantage to be the leader. Thought I had learned enough from last night that I could still be the leader, because obviously if a yellow were to come out, you want to be restarting front row. And I moved down with Wyatt when he moved down, and I wasn't going to put a second block on him into the middle. So at that point, I was just accepted my fate and took home another second today. So yeah, I mean, it was an eventful race. I forgot that warm up only gives you 55 seconds to grid instead of the 2 minutes from official racing. So I missed the grid. So that was embarrassing to say the least, but we recovered all right.
early cautions definitely helped you get past that when you're able to get back to a second place finish. Well, now, we look forward to tomorrow, and I heard you mention you haven't raced a lot. Now you have to go into a 188 lap, 499 mile feature event with only 90 laps back under your belt here on the PGR circuit. So did you learn enough in these two races, especially today in the duel, to take into tomorrow? And if so, kind of what's the game plan tomorrow for entry number 42?
Yeah, I feel like I learned enough to definitely be competitive. I don't know to win. I'm gonna still have to do some more homework. Clearly, last night got my ankles taken. Tonight got my ankles taken out of 4. So yeah, just gonna be trying to get over to the end of the race, honestly, because it's kind of an endurance race. But after, I don't know, it's gonna tally up to be like 230 something laps at Talladega. I think I'm gonna take a break from plate racing after this week.
Well, still 188 to go tomorrow, obviously, before you get to take that break. And starting 4th will be a good starting spot for you. Get start up front and set the tone for tomorrow afternoon's 499-mile feature. A second-place finish tonight, though, in dual race number 2. So before we let you go and start to do that homework on the way to the SummerSlam 499 tomorrow, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Seven Seas, Celebrity Cruises, Premier Racing Setups, everybody watching, you guys for putting on the broadcast. DJ, he's the producer in here. I see that. And then obviously Triscaro for putting up PGR, and Baker and all these guys for promoting it.
Well, Andrew, thank you for your time talking to us here after dual race number 2. Congratulations on the second place finish. Go enjoy it, go celebrate, but we will see you tomorrow afternoon in the SummerSlam 499.
I'll see you.
Andrew Navarro, the second place finisher in this second dual race. It now takes us over to the man that is on one of the most unique tracks, I think, in PGR history. Earlier in his heat race, he throws a block late and gets an EOL penalty that is then overturned. He's put at the tail end of duel number 2. Not only does he get in, he decides to go to victory lane 2 while he's at it. It's the man in victory lane in dual race number 2. It's the 18 of Wyatt Gray. Wyatt, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I just kind of talked about it. I want to get your take on it, too. One of the most unique set of circumstances that we've seen in one of these events so far, from out of the race on a penalty earlier to back in the race. And not only do you just squeak in the top 20, you decide, let me go make a statement. I'm going to go win the race in dual race number 2. Tell us how you did it. How'd you get to victory lane in dual race number 2 at Talladega?
Yeah, you really can't have more of a roller coaster day, I thought I was in, thought I was out, get back in, had to start dead last on the grid, and man, early in the race, I just took every run. I knew I needed to get out of the mess and get some track position, and by about halfway, we're already up well in the top 10, and from that point, it felt like, we were wrecking every 3 laps, and never really had a chance to get hung out, just kept sticking up in the top 5. And luckily I had a really good restart on that last restart, got up with Andrew in front of my teammate Dan and just pushed him until out of 4, made the move. And I wasn't expecting to have to block Malik, but it was probably the best block I've thrown, after throwing the worst one I've thrown this morning. So
Well, yeah, good that you mentioned that block. Obviously, got to be a little hard to try to throw a block knowing that penalty happened earlier, but it works out for you. And now we look forward to tomorrow. You're going to start outside pole for the SummerSlam 499. Again, it will be a much longer race than this. Obviously, starting up front counts for something, but a lot more on strategy tomorrow, a lot more on attrition tomorrow for you as we go 499 miles. What's the game plan for the Snickers Toyota as you look to win $1,500 in a championship belt?
Honestly, I'm probably gonna ride out back, in these longer races like an NIS. That's normally my play, you gotta have the car at the end if you want any shots. So I'll probably play pretty conservative until it's crunch time.
We're looking forward to it tomorrow afternoon. You'll start outside of the front row, the biggest sim racing event of the summer. A win for you tonight, though, in dual race number 2. So before we let you go and start to prep yourself for that race tomorrow, I do want to give you an opportunity. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out you guys for broadcasting, Mike and Baker for putting these events on. They're always awesome. And shout out my teammates, everyone that was in the NBG.
I appreciate you for talking to us here for a second in the broadcast booth. Congratulations on the win here in Duel race number 2. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon for the SummerSlam 499.
Thank you, Dawson.
Wyatt Gray is your winner from Virtual Talladega of Duel race number 2. And boy, it's almost like breathe in, breathe out. So we can all finally take a breath after 120 laps of just pure insanity from Talladega Super Speedway. It was incredible, but it's not yet done. The field is now set for the 3rd annual running of the PGR SummerSlam 499. We know the 42 drivers that will compete as a part of tomorrow's event, and we cannot wait to get that event going. You see the time on your screen. It will be here on PGR eSports. The biggest sim racing event of the summer is back. It should be an incredible day of racing tomorrow in the Gen 6 race car. I've been stoked about this event for months. I know Mike and Baker and all of us on management have been really excited about this event, and I think the racing so far in our first 8 heat races and now our 2 dual races has set the stage perfectly. This Gen 6 car is providing some of the best racing we have ever seen in a PGR eSports event, and tomorrow is sure to be one for the ages. Coverage will go live sometime around 12:30 p.m. Eastern as we give you an extended PGR pre-race show leading into the SummerSlam 499. I cannot wait to be back on the microphone tomorrow for that event. We look forward to bringing you all of the coverage from the biggest sim racing event of the summer tomorrow afternoon. I want to thank you for your participation tonight. Obviously, my co-hosts have now left. We got their thoughts as they went out the door. They are dealing with some race control issues as of now. But Michael Triscaro, Matthew Baker were with me tonight. Appreciate their help for all of their commentary tonight and throughout the weekend, as they've called several races with me throughout the course of the weekend. I want to thank DJ Lyon as well, our producer downstairs, for the incredible work he has done over the past couple of days with us. Glad to have him on board, and certainly I feel like he has made the product something to behold here for PGR eSports. Well, that leaves us now with just one race. It's time to go racing in the SummerSlam 499. It will be tomorrow afternoon, again, 12:30 Eastern for coverage. Green flag at 1 p.m. Eastern for the biggest sim racing event of the summer. At this point in time, we do not have an official update for you on the appeal that is being staged by Zach Range. As of right now, Zach Range finished this race inside the top 20. He has received an EOL penalty, but Range has opted to exercise his review process for that. So we'll look forward to official word later on. We did not get that word yet. We'll wait for it for race control. I want to thank our sponsors, Blanchard's Towing and Recovery. Chris Blanchard going to utilize that sponsor provisional. He will be in the field tomorrow afternoon for the SummerSlam 499. I want to thank Ryko Performance for their support of the SummerSlam 499 as well. One other driver will be getting a provisional from the Ryko Performance Group, by the way. That will be coming up in a drawing here in just a little bit, so it will be 42 total. Do want to thank our Duel 2 sponsor as well, Christopher Carter Racing, and Chris specifically for his support of PGR eSports and this event here this weekend, the SummerSlam 499. Thanks to all of our sponsors over the last 3 days, Heats and Duels combined, as well as our title sponsors for their support of PGR eSports and the SummerSlam 499. Well, without any official update, I don't want to keep you here too much longer as we wait for official word, but I will give you the latest that we have one more time. As of now, Zach Range has been EOL'd out of the 15th position. He's received a penalty for pushing through Dillon Basin and causing the incident on the final lap of tonight's second dual race. That is as of right this second. But he has decided to appeal that penalty. That appeal result has not come back. So it will either be Zach Range in the 043 making the field, or it will be Joey Gattina in the 14 that race tomorrow afternoon. There is no other spot that is up for grabs. It is only one position, and it's either going to be Range or it will be Gattina in the 14 in tomorrow afternoon SummerSlam 499. We'll make sure we update you first thing tomorrow about what the result of that appeal process is and give you the updated starting grid for the SummerSlam 499 when it is relevant. That is going to just about wrap up our coverage here tonight from Virtual Talladega Super Speedway. If you've been along with us all day, thank you so much for coming out and using the chat and promoting the channel and promoting this event that we all have waited so long for. I believe that we've got something truly special unfolding before us here this weekend in the SummerSlam 499. Tomorrow is going to be a historic day for PGR eSports. If you liked what you saw tonight, you have not seen anything yet. Tomorrow afternoon's event will be awesome. It will be edge of your seat, and it will be, by the way, for almost 500 miles. I can't wait to be back with you tomorrow afternoon. Until then, we will bid you farewell here tonight from iRacing's Virtual Talladega. as the Duel winners come through in a big way. It's Wyatt Gray in Duel race number 2 that gets the job done. It's Michael Guest that gets the job done in Duel number 1. Guest will be on the pole. Wyatt Gray outside of him in outside pole position as we will start tomorrow's SummerSlam 499. For my broadcast partners throughout the day, Matthew Baker, Michael Triscaro, and Evan Carlbon, and our producer downstairs, DJ Lyon, again, thank you so much for coming out and promoting and viewing this content with us here today. Hope you all have enjoyed. We will see you tomorrow afternoon for the SummerSlam 499 pre-race at 12:30 in the afternoon. Cannot wait to see you then. Until next time, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow for the biggest sim racing event of the summer.